The story I'm about to share is based off of a dream I had when I first began my walk with Jesus Christ in 2011. The dream was shorter and more direct than the story, but I expanded and added more detail to make it easier to follow and hopefully give some helpful insight as to how Jesus views organized religion and the transition of coming out of it. It was during a time in my life when I needed absolute clarity about what the truth really was and how Jesus viewed my life. I needed to know if my life and everything I once knew was indeed the truth, or was it the Broadway? Being at this major crossroad forced me to seek Jesus like I never have before. It was one of the hardest and scariest things I was ever faced with. But I was desperate to know one way or another and willing to take whatever steps I needed to in order to do what was right before my Lord. I had never heard from Jesus, but I knew that he promised to guide and speak to those who ask him because he is the good shepherd and his sheep hear his voice. In persistence, I asked him for help and understanding until one night he gave me this dream. And I knew instantly in my heart it was the truth. Then it was up to me to obey and follow his leading or ignore his warning. The warning is not just for me, but anyone who really wishes to follow Jesus. The warning is to separate from dead religion and worldly Christianity, to live holy and blameless. Many Christians are mixing what is holy with what is unholy and therefore defiling themselves. Jesus will only take a righteous and pure bride. Organized religion, the false church, has been penetrated with many lies that's mixed with truth, which has made its deception strong and hard to recognize. And it is defiled, and the road that it has made is broad and leading many to their doom. Jesus is calling those who have an ear to hear to come out and be holy. This isn't just a message of warning, but also of hope that Jesus is full of mercy and forgiveness, ready to help any and all who come to him and him alone. He gives those that are serious to follow him strength, courage, and his authority to overcome evil and sin, so we may be found worthy of the life he gives. His way is narrow, difficult, and few are on it. The cost is indeed great following Jesus, and we are promised to suffer many things if we follow Jesus in truth. Yet, if we trust him and walk in faith, he gives us his true blessings, which truly satisfy. I can attest that in choosing Jesus, he gives his surpassing joy, peace, purpose, and true life in this life and the life to come. And no matter what we face in this life, we can always count on him to be there for us and help us as we endure with him until the end. But it's up to you to choose which path you'll take, the broad way or the narrow way. You can only choose one. Escaping the Broadway by Marilee. Chapter 1. Everyone knew Vanessa Lostwood as the girl who was always smiling. Her chocolate brown hair matched her eyes and compassion spilled from her heart. She was bright and hardworking. Academically, she was average, but always strived to do her best. Vanessa was a talented performer as well, so she enjoyed participating in choir and theater. Vanessa had many friends and acquaintances who loved her. Vanessa lived with her mom, who worked hard to love, support, and encourage her to become the best woman she could be by having good morals and virtue. Vanessa didn't see her father much since her parents' divorce, and hoped one day to maybe have questions answered. As Vanessa grew older, she looked for ways that she could contribute to her community. She did a handful of mission trips, and worked with children at camp during the summer. Her family couldn't be any prouder of her. Now that Vanessa had graduated high school, the world was at her fingertips. She could do anything, be anything. But what? Although she had a variety of talent, and though she had so much love and support, she felt insecure of herself. Even though she was doing so many things that had an appearance of greatness, inwardly she felt lost. The question that hangs on everyone was now on Vanessa's shoulders. What is my purpose in life? Vanessa sat in her mom's backyard on the swinging bench in the shade of a mulberry tree. It was a warm morning, and there was a pleasant breeze. She watched the birds splash in the bird bath and fluff their feathers, tweeting and chirping without a care in the world. The bees busily at work fulfilling their purpose, finding delicious nectar and pollen from the flowers in the garden. If only it was that easy for me. What did you say, honey? Vanessa's mom asked. She was walking over with 2 glasses of lemonade. Oh, hey, Mom. I didn't know you were there, Vanessa said dully. Her mom handed her a glass and studied her daughter's face. What troubles you, Vanessa? Her mom could see the wrinkle on Vanessa's brow as if in thought and worry. Oh, I don't know what to do with my life, Mom. I just feel overwhelmed and lost. Everyone has a calling and purpose, and I just don't know what mine is. Her gaze fell to her glass. Vanessa's mom wrapped her arm around Vanessa's shoulder, and they rocked in silence for a moment. Life is a journey, Vanessa. You find yourself along the way. It's okay to not know the answers yet, but you will. A lot of what we learn comes through our experiences, mistakes, and successes. As long as you are always doing your best, doing what you know is right in your heart, and caring for others, then you can't go wrong. They looked at one another and smiled. Thanks, Mom. But where should I start? Well, honey, a job would be a good place to start. You have a beautiful resume, and now it's time to start handing them out. There's a lot of opportunity, and you'll do great at whatever you do. Here, take the car. Her mom held out the keys to Vanessa. Vanessa took the keys, hugged her mom, and went to her room to get herself ready. Chapter 2. Driving her mom's Lexus helped Vanessa gain a bit more confidence. The clean white car with tan leather seats drove smooth and classy. Vanessa chose her navy blue dress with red, yellow, and white zigzag embroidery on its fringe. It was fitted on the torso to the waist, and then flowed whimsically down to her knees. A leather belt was tied around her waist that matched her leather sandals. Her hair hung in big curls down her back. I guess I'll start on Vanity Street, Vanessa thought. Vanity Street was the most popular place to go since it had a plethora of restaurants, stores, gyms, a movie theater, and bowling alley. Vanessa often got together with her friends here on the weekends to shop at their favorite clothing store, Beautiful You, eat at their favorite cafe, Indulgence, and then catch a movie at Entertain Me Theater. She pulled into the parking garage and found a space to park. Taking her resumes, she began her job search. There was no doubt that Vanessa would apply to her favorite places first. So she began at Beautiful You. As soon as she entered the store, she felt the thrill of shopping, the bright lights, smell of new clothes, the peppy music. Instinctively, she picked up a shopping bag, but then remembered her actual mission there. Feeling a little silly, she returned the bag and went to the register to inquire about a job. As she reached the front, her eyes lit up. There, behind the desk, was Vanessa's best friend from school. Vanessa! Roxy, hey! You actually got the job! The two girls hugged. Yep, I've been working here 2 weeks now. I was hoping to surprise you just like this one day. That's why I didn't say anything. It's a dream come true, girlie, since we are here like all the time anyway. I bet, Vanessa laughed. Do you think there's another opening for me? I'm looking for jobs today. Sam, the manager, was hiring, but I'm not too sure if she still is. I'll go ask. Roxy left to the back and in a few minutes returned with Sam, the manager. Hello, Vanessa. It's a pleasure to meet you. I've seen you girls several times come in together, so it's nice to officially meet you. Roxy informed me that you're looking for work, Sam inquired. It's a pleasure to meet you as well, Sam. And yes, I am looking for a job. I love your store so much and would love to be part of your team here. Here, this is my resume. Vanessa handed her resume to Sam. As Sam looked it over, she nodded her head a good deal. Roxy held up crossed fingers, hoping that was a good sign. Well, that is a very nice resume you have there, Vanessa. You would certainly be a good candidate for our team. But unfortunately, I just finished all the hiring I can do for now. Vanessa's heart sank a bit. However, if something opens up, you will be first on my list. It was nice to officially meet you, and I'm sure I'll see you around again. Sam shook Vanessa's hand and headed back to her office. Roxy attempted to comfort her friend. Man, what a bummer. She doesn't know what she's missing, she said with a little twinkle in her eye. You would have been so perfect here. Have you tried anywhere else yet? No, this was my first stop, Vanessa replied, a little defeated. Don't give up. There's lots of places. I'm sure you'll get something good. Try Indulgence. Then I can always come see you on my lunch break. Good idea. All right, Roxy, I'll see you a little later. Vanessa waved and then headed out.
Chapter 3. Indulgence was hoppin'. Almost every table was filled, and waitresses walked quickly back and forth like bees buzzing around from flower to flower. The smell of fresh bread and savory food made Vanessa's mouth water. Can I help you? A waitress asked in passing. Hi, yes, is the manager in? I'd like to turn in my resume. Just a minute and I'll check, the waitress said, disappearing. Thank you, Vanessa replied, but was pretty sure the waitress didn't hear over the noise of music playing overhead, clanking dishes, and voices of people talking. 5 minutes passed, still no waitress or manager. Vanessa decided she needed to keep moving along. She left her resume on a small stand at the entrance of the restaurant, where the host usually greets guests. Then off she went. Store after store, Vanessa popped in and left with little hope. Most places had already finished hiring, or she had the feeling the managers were not interested. After several hours of searching, Vanessa came to the end of Vanity Street. Crushed in spirit, she could feel her eyes start to get hot as she held back tears. She blinked fast to clear her vision, and then noticed something she hadn't seen before. It was an enormous warehouse. How she missed it was a mystery to her. I guess I've never come down this far before, Vanessa thought. On the building, there were 2 large letters, BW, with the design of a path that trailed off into the sunset. As Vanessa stood gazing and pondering at what this place could be, a man quietly walked up and stood beside her.
It is a place of hope and prosperity for all that come. Anyone is welcome, and most come through these doors, the man uttered. Vanessa was so startled by the gentleman's voice that she jumped and dropped all her papers. Embarrassed, she quickly stooped down and began scooping up her resumes.
I'm so sorry. I didn't see you there, Vanessa stuttered. The man helped pick up a few papers and handed them to Vanessa.
Oh, my apologies. I didn't mean to startle you. Forgive me. But I couldn't help but notice. You have your resumes with you. Are you searching for work?
The man asked. His voice was smooth and sultry, which both enticed Vanessa and made her skin creep. Like a moth drawn to fire, Vanessa was entranced. His appearance was very handsome. He wore a black suit and tie, a white shirt, and his shoes were polished. His skin was tan, and he had black hair that was fashionably styled. A well-manicured beard was trimmed short, complementing his angular face. His eyes were dark and mysterious. Yes, I am looking for a job. I've been going from store to store with no luck. I thought there would be so much opportunity. Vanessa spoke with a bit of a pout.
Well, I am the manager of this grand place, and I happen to be hiring. You seem to be just the girl I am looking for.
The man's eyes scanned Vanessa from head to toe and was apparently pleased, for he smiled with one eyebrow raised. Vanessa began to feel a bit uncomfortable.
Yes,
he said.
You will do very well here.
What would I be doing?
Come, let me show you.
As he escorted Vanessa towards the building and inside.
Welcome to the Broadway, where people have come for centuries, broken, and leave feeling healed. Here at the Broadway, everyone is made to feel at home by offering a variety of services to help all who come find their purpose and connect with a community of great people like themselves. I am Dolian,
he said with a bow. They stood in a greeting room that resembled a coffee shop with brown and cream hues, varying-sized indoor plants, warm lighting, and cozy chairs. In the middle of the room, there was a desk that had pamphlets of different programs offered at the Broadway for any age. There was a poster that said, "Why Choose the Broadway?" which had several reviews of people that visited or were members. On it said things such as, "We were treated like family," "Great place to connect," "Genuine and down to earth," "Life-changing experience," "Excellent kid programs," "Engaging lessons for all ages." Dolian held out his hand and asked,
"And you are?"
"Vanessa Lostwood," she replied, shaking hands with Dolian. "It's a beautiful place, so new and inviting, but I'm a little confused about something, sir," Vanessa began.
"Please, call me Dolian. What is your question?"
Vanessa blushed and gave a small laugh. "Dolian, it's obviously such a new building, and yet, if I'm not mistaken, you said the Broadway has been here for centuries. How is that possible?"
"Ah, you are a smart girl, Vanessa, indeed. The Broadway has been established for thousands of years in various forms and to many different peoples worldwide, all of which reach the top of the mountain, my dear. But you must be connected to the Broadway and believe in it in order to find your way. The more people believe, the larger my buildings become, and the more need to be built, like this one here."
Dolian gestured. "Couldn't someone find their way by listening to their heart? My mom—"
No.
Dolian loudly interrupted.
You must have leadership and accountability, guidance and community. You think you know better than the ones I have trained to shepherd you and thousands of others?
He paced back and forth militantly as he spoke. Vanessa stood silent and frozen. Dolian stopped, closed his eyes, and took a breath. He gave Vanessa a cold smile.
Don't listen to this new age ideology. It leads to rebellion and pride. Listen to your heart is whimsical and not based on truth. It's whatever you think it is. I don't know how many times I've tried to help people like you. Here we have our great book to guide us along, and here at the Broadway we study and teach and live by the principles of this great book. It is our authority.
Dolian grabbed hold of a leather-covered book and patted it.
This book teaches us all are accepted and all are forgiven. Have you seen it before?
I've seen it. I've even read it a bit, but I don't know it well, sir. Dolian, I mean, Vanessa admitted.
Don't worry, young darling Vanessa.
He cupped her face.
You will soon master it, I'm sure.
And he handed Vanessa the book. Vanessa smiled through her uncertainty. She had so many questions. Could she trust Dolian? Was this place as good as he made it seem? Her heart said something was off, but she couldn't put a finger on it. Maybe he was right about not listening to your heart because she couldn't prove something was wrong. I don't want to be judgmental, Vanessa thought.
Would you like to see the rest of this place, Vanessa?
Dolian asked. Vanessa nodded. He held open one of 2 large doors that led into the main room. There was a walkway that was lit, leading to a stage in the front. On either side of the walkway were tables and chairs, all of which were in dim lighting. Each table had papers, pencils, and envelopes on them.
This is where you will perform,
Dolian stated, holding out his arms.
Yes, perform. I saw in your resume you were involved in choir and theater. You are a performer, are you not? You will be splendid. You will be adored and desired by all.
He said with a sinister smile and lustful eyes.
And a role model for the younger generations. Think of it, Vanessa. Many will admire your leadership.
I do like being able to help others and be a good example, and I do enjoy performing, Vanessa agreed, gazing at the room.
Then you'll take the job then?
Dolian inquired. Vanessa looked at Dolian and back at the stage. She was contemplating all Dolian had told her.
Don't worry, I will pay you very well. You will have everything you could ever want, I assure you. Friends, family, love, money, fame, food, and even a place to stay.
Dolian added, rubbing his hands together. A place to stay? Where?
Oh, here, of course. I have an apartment for all my girls on the next floor. They will be your new family and teach you all you need to know,
Dolian guaranteed with pride. Oh, so it's like an internship?
I suppose, but an internship is temporary. The life you'll have here is long-term.
Vanessa pondered this big decision. Dolian began walking Vanessa down the walkway to the stage as he spoke.
You see, Vanessa, you have been enlightened that this is the right way, your purpose and your calling, if you will. That is why you have come. You have been drawn here, though you may not see it now. It certainly is a big and important decision to make if you will accept this calling and would be wise to consider carefully. It is said in the great book that once you have been enlightened to the truth and then fall away, it is impossible to be restored to your original glory. Here, you have truth, security, community, and a future. You are not so unwise to forsake the Broadway and this opportunity, are you?
They stood on the stage now, and Vanessa looked out where the audience would sit. He's right, Vanessa thought. I haven't had any other offers, and Dolian has offered so much more than any other job I could have found. He seems very generous, but what if I don't like it? Dolian could see her hesitation and how she was deep in thought.
Well, you would have done well here, and not everyone has such a great opportunity as you.
He sighed.
But no matter, go ahead. You can go. It would be better for you to leave now than to begin to try and leave later.
I'll take it, Vanessa blurted.
Wonderful! Wise choice, Vanessa.
Dolian put a hand on each of Vanessa's shoulders.
You will begin tomorrow. Go ahead and go pack your things. Meet me here in the greeting room at 9 in the morning. Then I will introduce you to the others and show you where you will be staying.
Thank you, Dolian. Vanessa smiled and shook Dolian's hand.
Oh, before you go, I have a gift for you.
Dolian pulled from his pocket a small black box and gave it to Vanessa. When she opened it, she saw a beautiful gold ring with a sapphire in the middle.
You must wear it at all times as a symbol of being my employee. Think of it like a fancy name badge. The sapphire is unique to you. Each employee has their own color. With it, you will sign in and out each day.
Dolian explained. Vanessa stared wide-eyed at the ring. In her heart, she felt something caution her. But the ring was too mesmerizing. Slipping it on, she found it fit perfectly. She stared at Dolian perplexed. How he knew what size ring would fit her.
Wonderful,
he clapped.
Now, on you go. Return tomorrow at 9. So much to do and so much to learn. Your first performance is in a week.
Dolian escorted Vanessa out of the building. She hardly remembered how she got to her car. Her mind was in a haze, trying to take everything in. Mom is going to be amazed, Vanessa thought to herself. Chapter 5. Pulling up the driveway, Vanessa saw her mom looking through the curtain and gave an excited wave. She parked the car, gathered her things, and by the time she was closing the driver door, her mom had skipped up to her, grinning wide, and pulled her daughter in for a hug. Well, began Vanessa's mom, how did it go? I want to hear everything. Mom, I think I just got the best job ever. It was so easy. I hardly had an interview. The manager is so generous and wise, Vanessa sighed in a dreamy voice. My mind hasn't even fully grasped it all yet. Oh, how exciting! Hurry up and come in. Start from the very beginning. Vanessa and her mom walked inside and flopped on the couch together. Vanessa shared about how she saw Roxy at Beautiful You and how there were no openings there. Then how she stopped by Indulgence only to be left waiting. Vanessa drug out the emotion and anticipation by adding how sad and hopeless she felt. As she spoke, she gestured with her hands for dramatic effect. Some light happened to shine through the window, catching Vanessa's ring, which made it sparkle. Wait, what's that? Her mom grabbed her hand, looked at the ring, and shot Vanessa a perplexed look. You're not engaged, are you? No, Mom, Vanessa laughed. It's like my name badge. The manager gave it to me, and that's what he told me. Apparently, each of his employees have one with their own unique gem in it to represent them. Mine is sapphire. Isn't it dazzling? Her mom just nodded, still staring at the ring. I almost crashed on my way home because I was staring at it. They both laughed. Have you met your coworkers yet? No, not yet. I get to tomorrow. And, where I'll be staying, Vanessa added a bit nervously. She wasn't sure how her mom would take the news. Staying? You mean you're moving out? Living somewhere else? Who is this manager anyway? Vanessa could tell the mama bear was coming out. It's okay, Mom. I'd be staying in an apartment with the other girls. It's part of working for Dolian. He said that... Dolian, her mom said in a hushed tone. Yeah, he's the manager. He seems very generous and kind. As Vanessa spoke, her mom stood up and began to slowly pace back and forth on the carpet. Her mom's face was in deep thought, with her left hand on her hip and her right holding her forehead, as if to stimulate her memory. Mom, you okay? Dolian, I recognize the name. Where did you say you're working, honey? It's called the Broadway. It's a huge building at the end of Vanity Street. I haven't noticed it before, but I think it must be a newer building. Dolian said that the Broadway has been around for ages, and they're all over the world. It must be doing well. He said that they have to keep making their buildings larger and establishing new ones. Vanessa shrugged as she tried to explain. That's it, her mom snapped. I remember now. I've been there before and met the man many years ago. Actually, a few times. When I was a little girl, my parents took me to a certain Broadway for a few years. I don't remember which one, but it was there that I met Dolian for the first time. It was at a meeting my parents attended. My parents decided they wanted to try out a few other Broadways because they disagreed with something at the first one, but they didn't seem happy with any of the others either. Then we stopped attending altogether. I don't really understand why. I liked it, and everyone there was so nice. I'd made several good friends there. She paused, as if playing it all back in her mind. Later, when I met your dad, he was attending a Broadway on Sensual Avenue. He was very serious about it and wanted to work there. That is when I met Dolian for the second time. He remembered me, which blew me away. Wow, I had no idea. Yep, he was a very kind and helpful man. He would do anything for you to feel welcome and stay. He helped give your father a job as a performer, you know. Dolian told him how important the job was because it helps prepare the people to receive the lesson. Your father was really good at it. But soon his love for fame and riches became more important than his family, under the guise of what he called loyal labor to the Broadway. So, she said with a sigh, after our divorce, I stopped going, and I took you with me. I just didn't have the drive. Even though I felt a little guilty for not attending, it just seemed too fake for a while. I don't remember any of it, said Vanessa. You were so young, honey, I doubt you would. You were only 2 when we left. Vanessa just listened. Dolian was upset to see us leave, and maybe even a bit pushy to make us stay. But in the end, he was understanding of the situation and reassured that not only would we be welcome back, we would always stay connected to the Broadway as long as we believed in it. So, do you believe in it then? Oh, yes. The Broadway is full of good teachings, resources, and people that are loving and accepting. Sure, there's some hypocrites here and there, but you'll find people like that anywhere. The Broadway as a whole is wonderful. I have considered several times getting back into it. Maybe now is the perfect time. Well, seems like it was meant to be for both of us then that I got this job. Indeed, her mom stated thoughtfully. Then she looked at Vanessa and smiled. I'm very proud of you, Vanessa. You have found a gem of a place to work. I'm going to be a performer like Dad. I'm a little nervous. Don't be, Vanessa. You'll be perfect. You were always the best one on stage in school, and I have no doubt you'll do your best at the Broadway and shine, her mom encouraged. Vanessa blushed and smiled at her mom. Well, you'd better start packing, and I'll take you in the morning. The two of them hugged. Chapter 6. All night, Vanessa tossed and turned. Her mind was racing with so many questions, from the common worries of fitting in at her new job to the more complex life questions like why her grandparents left the Broadway, or how could her dad believe work was more important than family. Question after question haunted her until she finally decided to get up. It was 3 a.m. Seriously? Vanessa moaned. As she sat on her bed, she looked at her open suitcase. There on top was the great book Dolian had given her. Vanessa picked up the book and opened it randomly to a place where all the letters were in red. She remembered that when she was a little girl, her grandparents would read this book with her when she visited them. It was on one of these visits that they explained to her that the red letters meant the Master was speaking. He is the true teacher, and what he says is important for true life. This book doesn't give us life, but it should point us to him who gives life, they clarified. Vanessa wouldn't say much because she didn't understand, but they always reminded her, he will help you know everything you need to know if you just ask. Vanessa looked at the page she had opened to and read, The narrow way is the path that leads to life, and few are on it. But broad is the way that leads to destruction, and many are on it. Vanessa pondered this text. Interesting. I wonder if the Broadway here has any relation to the Broadway. I don't really see how. The Broadway has so many good things. Even Mom said so. She read on. Beware of false prophets who come in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravenous wolves. You will know them by their fruit. A good tree will produce good fruit, and a bad tree, bad fruit. See, the Broadway must be a good tree because it's doing good things, Vanessa said, trying to convince herself. But what she read next only left her more confused. Not everyone who calls to me will enter the kingdom of heaven, but he who does the will of my Father will enter. Many will say to me, Master, we've done so many great things in your name. Are we not worthy? And I will say to them, I never knew you. Away from me, you who sin. What? I don't understand. Who can be saved then? Because I feel like I've done a lot of good. But what if I would be turned away like them? Fear gripped her. Fear of what would happen to her soul. Vanessa believed in heaven and always thought that most people would go there because most people are good. She didn't want to believe in hell, although in her heart she knew it was real and believed that just the really bad people went there after death. However, despite what she thought, the passage she just read sounded like it said the opposite, that even people that appear to do good are turned away from the kingdom. Vanessa closed the book and flopped back on her bed. Her head was spinning and her heart racing. He will help you know what you need to know if you just ask, she could hear her grandparents say. So she did. Master, I don't know if you hear me or know me, and I don't totally know you, but I'm lost and confused. I'm scared to be turned away. I want to do what's right, but I don't know what's right. I don't want to be fooled. Help me, please. Moments after she finished, she fell asleep. A sweet, peaceful sleep. It only seemed like a few minutes had gone by when her alarm clock went off at 7. The smell of coffee and banana pancakes filled the air. Vanessa dressed, splashed her face, and met her mom in the kitchen. It smells great, Mom. Vanessa yawned and took a deep breath in. She sat at the table and held a warm cup of coffee in her hands. Her mom came over with 2 plates of pancakes and placed them in front of Vanessa. Butter and syrup dribbled down the sides. It's your favorite. Did you have a rough night, honey? You look tired, her mom noted. Yeah, I just had so much on my mind. and I felt all stressed out. I'm sorry, honey, but don't you worry. Keep listening to your heart, and you can't go wrong. There's nothing to worry about. But sometimes my heart is conflicted. Well, then you just do your best to decide based on what you've been taught. But what if I'm wrong? There will be plenty of times in life when we will be wrong, but we learn from our mistakes, grow, and we move on. Don't stress, Vanessa. You're a smart girl and intuitive. I know you will always do your best, and that's all that matters. We also have to get into reading that great book more so we can know the Master's words better. It tells us everything we need to know. Something about that didn't seem right with Vanessa. Could she really find direction for every part of her life in that book? Couldn't people misunderstand what it's saying and do the wrong thing? Again, her grandparents' voice echoed in her heart. It does not give life, but should point us to the one who gives life. Vanessa didn't have the heart to disagree with her mother because she wasn't completely sure herself on what was true. So they ate their pancakes and sipped their coffee until it was time to go. Of course, her mother got a bit emotional when she dropped Vanessa off at the Broadway and promised to be there for her first performance. Chapter 7. Vanessa stood out front of the Broadway with suitcase in hand. It was 8:53 a.m. She closed her eyes and took a deep breath and whispered, "Help me." As if on cue, Dolian stepped out of the building and greeted Vanessa.
Vanessa, I am so glad to see you, and early too. Wonderful. Allow me to help you.
He held out his hand to carry Vanessa's suitcase for her. "Thank you," she replied, marveling at the coincidence.
It's no trouble at all.
Dolian snickered.
Come, we have some things to take care of before I take you to your apartment and you meet the rest of the girls.
They walked through the greeting room and down a hall to a door that said Security Office on it. Dolian held open the door for Vanessa. When she stepped into the office, she saw an entire wall covered in surveillance screens. A few men in black sat in front of the screens studying them, while a couple others stood against the wall with hands clasped in front of them.
Gentlemen, meet our new performer, Vanessa Lostwood,
Dolian introduced. All the men simultaneously turned their heads toward Vanessa with leering smiles.
Welcome, Vanessa,
they chorused. Hello, she replied nervously.
Oh, don't mind them, dear Vanessa. I know they are a bit dry, but they are the very best at keeping an eye on this place. Come with me through here to my office. To work, men.
Dolian clapped, and all the men snapped to attention like robots. Vanessa was relieved to move along. On the wall next to Dolian's office hung a sign that read, Master Dolian. The office was a bit dark, with 2 high black leather chairs on either side of the desk. There was a bookshelf full of books and a few half-dead plants. In a corner of his office was an enormous glass terrarium with a huge boa constrictor inside. Vanessa's skin shivered just looking at the snake.
Now, Miss Vanessa, we must get this paperwork out of the way. Please come sit.
Right, Vanessa responded and pulled up in the chair. Quickly, they went briefly over all the paperwork being signed. Vanessa didn't know much of anything she was signing other than the basic understanding of obeying Dolian, the boss, and those under him, complying with the rules, regulations, restrictions, and job description and payroll. As she signed each paper, Dolian's fingers would practically twitch and his eyes grew wide like a dog waiting for the command to eat. After the last signature, he hastily snatched up all the papers with a bit of a snicker. Excuse me, Dolian. Thank you again for this opportunity, but what is it exactly I'll be doing? I know I'll be a performer, but...
We just signed your job description. Were you not even listening?
Dolian snapped. Vanessa clasped her hands in her lap and shut her mouth. Dolian cleared his throat and straightened his tie, then added,
I'll give you your copy momentarily and go over it in sort of what you will do. Beth will be the one who will go over everything with you in more detail. She is my head performer. Now, I must show you how to check in.
Dolian led her to a scanner in front of the security office.
There is a scanner in your apartment at the entrance here. Each morning you'll sign in and out, and if you leave to get groceries or whatever, you will sign in and out. For me, you are working every day because each day you are learning and preparing for your performance. Coming and going, signing in and out is for your security.
Vanessa didn't want to say one thing unless she was asked, but she did wonder, why so much security?
Now go ahead and wave your ring under the scanner,
Dolian prompted. When Vanessa passed her hand under the scanner, it went, bing! Welcome, Vanessa Lostwood, to the Broadway.
Good, you're signed in. Now to the apartments.
Dolian stood and took Vanessa's luggage in one hand and held out an elbow for Vanessa on the other. She took it, and he led her from the security office to a flight of stairs. There was a map of the building on the wall, which Dolian explained.
The first floor is the greeting room and the great room. Out back there is a garden where you are welcome to visit any time you'd like. The second floor has rooms where all the different classes and programs will take place. Apartments are on the third floor.
On the first floor, there's a big X on it. Why is that? Vanessa inquired.
That space is off limits. It's under development and it's hazardous.
Dolian answered. Up they went to the third floor.
To the left is the men's apartments, and to the right is the women's. You may come and visit, of course, but curfew is at 10 p.m.
She glanced down the men's hall, and there were some handsome guys playing pass at the ball. They gave Vanessa a cheesy grin and wave. Vanessa blushed and quickly looked away. She could hear Dolian chuckle. They walked halfway down the women's hall and was hit with the smell of perfume. Dolian knocked on the door and called out,
Beth, your new hire is here.
Chapter 8. Vanessa was shocked when Beth opened the door. She expected to see all young, college-age girls like herself, but Beth must have been at least in her 50s. Hello, Dolian. Her voice was rich and husky. It's a pleasure to see you, she said with a bow.
Yes, and you, Beth. Your age has not hindered your beauty. You have such grace.
He kissed her hand. It was true. Though Beth was later in years, she was beautiful with long blonde hair that was braided and mesmerizing blue-green eyes. Her skin was fair with hardly a wrinkle, and her lips and cheeks were a rich pink. In dress, Beth appeared modest, wearing a teal long dress with short flowing sleeves and a sheer shawl that she wore over her head. But Vanessa could sense that she was in fact haughty and seductive by the way she stood so tall with her chest in the air and by the way she batted her big black eyelashes.
Beth, this is Vanessa. See to it that she begins her training right away.
Yes, Dolian. Does she have any enlightenment or background with us? Beth inquired, eyeing Vanessa.
Little, very moldable. Her father serves with us on Central Avenue, Rob Lostwood. I'm sure you know him.
Vanessa shot Dolian a quick look of bewilderment that he had put together so quickly and quietly that Rob was her father. Beth's eyes widened at this fact. Oh, yes, I know Rob very well. He is very dedicated to the way. There must be potential then, she said, narrowing her gaze on Vanessa.
Yes, indeed. But there is also potential for confusion. You remember Ron and Ruth Johnson, don't you? And how they left the way and then persecuted it?
Dolian reminded with disgust. Yes, Beth hissed through her teeth. For a second, Vanessa thought she saw Beth's face contort. She blinked hard a few times, but when she looked again, Beth appeared normal.
Must be nothing.
Vanessa also felt very odd and uncomfortable how much they knew of her family and the tone in which they spoke of them. Well, Vanessa, you are very welcome here, and I will be happy to help you learn all you need to know, Beth said. Are you excited for this new job and new life? Yes, but also a bit nervous, Vanessa admitted. But I'll do my best. I know you will, my dear. I can tell, Beth smiled. Dolian handed Vanessa her suitcase and bid all the ladies farewell. They all called out goodbye in unison throughout the building. Once he left, Vanessa finally took in the scene. The apartment opened up to the living room, which was comfortably furnished with plush couches and chairs, a shag rug, and a coffee table. A television was hung on the wall, and opposite the television was a window that looked out to the parking lot. On that wall hung some indoor plants, as well as a few standing ones in pots. One girl was following an exercise video, and there were two others sitting on the couch. One was looking at herself in a mirror, and the other reading a book called Mastering Persuasive Speech. The kitchen and dining table was to the right. Two girls were in the kitchen cooking and singing into their spatulas. Another girl sat quietly at the dining table studying the great book. She looked up at Vanessa and gave her a real kind smile. Right away, Vanessa liked her. Ladies, clapped Beth, let's gather at the table, please, and introduce ourselves to our newcomer. Everyone stopped what they were doing and sat in their places. Chapter 9. Beth stood in her place at the head of the table and began the introduction. It is my pleasure to introduce to you all Miss Vanessa Lostwood. She is Sapphire and will certainly bring some fire to our sisterhood. Won't you, Vanessa? I'll try, Vanessa replied nervously. She didn't expect so much pressure right off the bat. Her father is Rob Lostwood, ladies, so there is no doubt that Vanessa here will follow in his footsteps and prove to be a loyal member, Beth added. There was a good deal of whispering among the girls around the table. Beth put a hand on Vanessa's shoulder and continued. As you know, I am Beth. My color is opal. I am the head performer for Dolian, and I have been at the Broadway and worked here my whole life. I have been able to help thousands become loyal members to the Way, and have had the privilege to train all of you lovely ladies. She sat down with a smile and gestured to the girl who sat on her left. My name's April, and I'm Emerald. I've been here at the Broadway for 20 years. Then she looked to her left for the next girl to introduce herself, and so it went on around the table. I'm Brittany. Topaz is my color, and I have worked here for 17 years. Lily, Ruby, 2 years. Jen, Amethyst, 13 years. Maria, Jasper, 32 years. Abby, Jade, 5 years. Hi, I'm Vanessa. I'm Sapphire, and I'm glad to start here with you all. Vanessa spoke, giving a shy wave. Very good, Beth smiled. Now, before we begin to show Vanessa how our performing works, let us start with our meditation verse and short word. All of the women held hands around the table. Vanessa took hands with the women on either side of her, and watched as all of them shifted in their seats like they were warming up for an exercise class, rolling their shoulders back, taking a deep breath in and closing their eyes. Then with one voice they chanted, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans for welfare and not for evil, to give you a hope and a future." Beth stood and spoke. "Indeed, what greater hope and future is there than here at the Broadway, where we know our lives are secure? It is promised and simple to achieve. Believe and confess that the Master is Lord and his grace covers over all we do. For we have no hope in ourselves or in our works, for we are in the flesh. But we receive this great future and prosperity because it is a free gift." To all this, the girls clapped and some agreed with soft amens.
Excuse me?
Vanessa raised her hand. All looked at her. "Beg your pardon. Help me understand. If it is free, this gift you're talking about, why do people need to come to the Broadway? And if we have no hope in our work, what benefit do we have working here?" Everyone stared at Vanessa with wide eyes, and some of the girls began whispering to each other. "I can see we have a lot to learn," Beth said with an eyebrow raised. "The Broadway, Vanessa, is like a tree which helps give life. We are like the branches. Apart from the tree, we have no life. Here there is knowledge of truth, wise leadership, guidance, and accountability. We need this fellowship, and we are expected to keep it. It is crucial for life and truth. As for our job, it is most important because we have been given the privilege to help others come to believe in the Broadway and feel welcome, to prepare the people to eat spiritual food. How would the people learn, understand, or find fellowship without our loyal labor?" Those last words stung Vanessa's heart because it was this idea that led to her parents' divorce. Yet, she could see what Beth was saying about being connected to the Broadway and the importance of her job there to help others with her service and example. Maria stood and added, "Yes, our job is how we bear fruit for our Master, not to be lazy servants." "Right," April chimed in. "We all have been gifted with talents, and we should use them for the good of the Broadway, for us, and for the Master. Not using our gifts is unwise." Vanessa believed what the women said and felt a bit ashamed for asking such a silly question. She looked down and apologized. "Forgive me for not understanding and for my disbelief. I see now how our work is important for expanding the Master's kingdom and keeping fellowship with the other branches, his people, and that not doing my part would make me an unfruitful branch. I don't want that." Beth gave a side smile and lay a hand on top of Vanessa's. "Very good. All is forgiven. It will be important to not doubt the way. There will be much more to learn, and we will make sure to help you grow. Won't we, sisters?" All the other girls agreed and nodded their heads. At that moment, the phone rang in the girls' apartment. Beth rose to answer it. Meanwhile, the rest of the women began to talk and gossip among each other. Vanessa looked across the table where Lily sat, the same girl that gave her a genuine smile when she first arrived. She was looking right back at Vanessa. "Hi," they said at the same time, and then laughed. Lily spoke up again. "It's nice to meet you and have another girl my age." "Same. So, you've been here 2 years? How do you like it, Lily?" It's not my favorite job because I'm a little shy, but it pays well, and I like the feeling of family. Hopefully I fit into the family well. I'm nervous. You will, I know it. And I'll help you if you want. I'd love that. Thanks. All right, ladies, Beth announced as she hung up the phone. Dolian has a surprise for us in the great room and asks all of us to give Vanessa a demonstration of Performance Day. So each of you get dressed and ready. Lily, Vanessa will bunk with you. The two of them exchanged excited smiles. Please show her where to put her things and her uniform. We will check in downstairs in 10 minutes. Chapter 10. This is what I have to wear? Vanessa asked, shocked. I know it's a little uncomfortable at first, but you'll start to get used to it, Lily assured. Vanessa looked at the skimpy dress she was supposed to wear to perform in.
I can't believe I have to wear this.
It was her color, sapphire, and looked like a mix between a ballerina and a Wild West saloon girl. It was a corset-style top with arm sleeves that drooped off the shoulder, and tutu-like material from the waist down to her mid-thigh. She would wear white pumps that laced up her calf, and white gloves that resembled doilies. Vanessa shook her head as she tried on the costume. Looking in the mirror, she made a face of disgust. This is ridiculous. I look like a prostitute. Lily came and stood next to her. She didn't look any better. Her dress was crimson red with one arm strap. It was tightly fitted to her thigh, tapering down one side to her knee. She wore black, silky gloves and tall black boots. We all do, Lily said with a hint of disgrace in her voice. But the people like it, and we're supposed to do whatever will bring the people. I don't like it, she said, tugging at her dress. But I do it because I want to believe it's the right thing in order to help others get plugged into the Broadway. That's what we do when we're enlightened, right? We come here to show our loyalty and dedication to the master. Vanessa pondered these words. Lily wasn't just working for money. She believed it was what one of faith should do to please the master. Until now, Vanessa only saw this as a job, but to the others it was their life and faith, which is what makes the Broadway so convincing. This realization inspired Vanessa to want this passion to know the master more in order to do what was right and to be fruitful, just like Beth spoke about earlier. How could she be the best she could be if she didn't fully believe? And how could she help others if she didn't believe? I hadn't really thought about it that way, Vanessa told Lily. I want to believe and know more so that I can give a good account to the master, to Dolian, and for others. Would you help me learn? Of course, Vanessa. We're like sisters now. Lily took Vanessa's hand and they smiled at each other. All right, ladies, Beth sang out. Let's head down and check in and show what we're made of. Vanessa, you will be last, so watch each of us and do as we do. Have fun and be you. Remember that your performance is supposed to help draw people and prep them for the Broadway message of grace, love, acceptance, forgiveness, peace, and safety. You must believe for it to be effective. Yes, Beth, I've just come to this conclusion. Thank you for your encouragement. Beth gave a sly smile, narrowing her eyes, and held Vanessa's chin. Good girl, she whispered, shaking Vanessa's chin slightly. Fall in line, ladies, Beth ordered. They walked single file from their apartment down the hall. Vanessa noticed that the men likewise were walking down the hall towards them, dressed in their most dapper apparel. from suit and tie to relaxed hipster. As they saw the girls, they whistled and called out to them. The girls similarly teased back. Vanessa noticed each man went with a lady as a pair. The men ranged in age just as the women did. As the men approached the women, they held out an elbow to escort them downstairs. Vanessa's partner looked to be in his 30s, with brown hair and long sideburns, and had hazel eyes. He was stocky and strong in appearance. His outfit was similar color and style as Vanessa's. In fact, each gentleman matched his partner. Vanessa's partner wore a white long-sleeve shirt that was rolled up to his elbows and tucked into slim-fit jeans. The top 3 buttons of his shirt were unbuttoned, and he sported a navy blue vest. Around his neck, he loosely tied a blue and white paisley bandana, and he wore Western boots.
Howdy, partner. The name's Chris.
He introduced, holding out his elbow.
And you must be Miss Vanessa.
Vanessa giggled. Boy, aren't you in character already? Yes, sir, I'm Vanessa. It's a pleasure. She bowed, taking his elbow. I didn't know he had partners. It's quite the surprise.
Yes, ma'am. We don't always perform the same time or day, but we often work together.
Chris eyed Vanessa.
You look to me like you'll be a great partner and we'll have quite the rodeo.
Vanessa blushed and looked down, giving a nervous laugh. So, Chris, how long have you worked here? Vanessa inquired.
All my life.
He replied.
I grew up in these here parts. I came from a family of performers. I began my work here as a kid. It makes good money and I love my fans, and now I'm teaching my kids what I know and do to prep them to be the next generation of performers.
You have a family?
Yep. Been married 6 years with 3 youngins.
Oh.
Vanessa looked away and felt sick to her stomach. In her heart, she knew this wasn't right to work so close with a married man, and felt guilty for even thinking he was handsome. She glanced at his hand and didn't see a ring. Vanessa slid her arm away, pretending to fix her hair. Chris must have been able to tell what she was thinking, because he followed up saying,
It's all right, to work together. In any line of work, you might have to work with someone who's married, It's also okay to notice that someone's attractive as long as you don't do the act with the person. We're made to be attractive, being in the image of God and all, so we can appreciate the master's good work now, can't we?
Chris explained, raising an eyebrow at Vanessa. Vanessa had mixed feelings about what Chris said. It was true that no matter where she worked, she may have to work with someone that's married. She also thought it wasn't exactly wrong to notice someone is good-looking, but that can go too far, especially knowing if someone is married. It just felt so wrong, and she felt Chris was appreciating her appearance too much. Vanessa didn't quite know what to say, but managed to get out with a weak smile. I still have a lot to learn, I guess. Chris gave a small chuckle and said,
I'd be happy to help if I can.
By now, they were all in front of the great room doors where Dolian stood waiting.
My, don't you all look excellent?
He said with a hiss in his voice, rubbing his hands together.
Well, today I called all of you to give our new member, Vanessa, a demonstration of what we do. I've invited a special guest to play for you as you and your partner perform down the aisle to the stage. You'll figure it out as you go.
Dolian explained to Vanessa, giving her a wink.
Everyone may scan in, and let's begin.
Chapter 11. Vanessa could hear the music begin behind the doors. Dolian opened the doors for Beth and her partner to enter. They strode in hand and began their routine. There was a band on the stage playing music, but Vanessa couldn't make out who they were. She watched carefully how Beth moved and swayed down the walkway to the stage. She was so graceful and elegant as she danced with her partner. Vanessa could see why she was the head performer. Every move she made was passionate and pulled at the emotions of the viewer to open their mind and heart to the message of the song, dance, and spoken word. Beth and her partner danced all the way onto the stage and finished by singing along with the band and gave a small message, one of salvation to all. Though humanity is imperfect and always will be, all people have been shown grace, and that grace is good enough to save if we just believe. One by one, each pair of performers went down the aisle in a choreographed dance. Each pair had their own song and message to give on stage. Some of the performers were more spirited than others, lifting their hands, speaking in another language, or even rolling on stage. One pair did repetitious prayers and mantras as if the more they said the same thing, the more they'd be heard, and it would come true. There were readings from the Great Book and motivational speaking on prosperity and wellness. Before Vanessa knew it, she was up. Chris held one of her hands in one of his as he took a step toward the great room and asked,
"You ready, partner?"
All of a sudden, Vanessa's stomach was swirling with nerves, and she started to breathe fast, shallow breaths. She glanced at Dolian, who gazed back, giving her a smile and a nod. The music began, and Chris bounded down the walkway, doing dramatic twists and leaps, landing on his knee and gesturing towards Vanessa. She didn't have a second to think when all the spotlight was now on her. She closed her eyes and took a breath, then twirled into the light. She listened hard to the music and moved herself in sync with its ebb and flow. She met up with Chris, and the two danced in unison, as if they had done this before, up to the stage. Chris twirled Vanessa out, and she came face to face with the lead singer of the band. Breathless and in shock, Vanessa whispered, "Dad!" Rob Lustwood looked at his daughter and smiled while he continued to sing and play until the performance was over. His eyes tried to tell Vanessa to do the same. She blinked fast a few times to help snap herself out of her stare and saw her partner handing her the great book to read from. She took the book, her mind spinning. There, her dad, right next to her. She opened the book to where there was a bookmarker already placed. There was a note as to what she was to read and a script for her to read. 1/10 of your produce of land, whether grain or fruit, belongs to the Lord, and we must set apart to Him as holy. Now is the time where we invite everyone to prepare their hearts and minds to give their offering. It is our duty to dedicate what we have to the Master. It is a command to give, and to give with a good heart, knowing it pleases Him. If we withhold our tithe offering, we rob the Master and will not receive His blessing. But we can be certain that if we bring the whole offering, we shall receive blessing from heaven to overflowing.
And cut. Excellent, all of you.
Dolian beamed.
I am very impressed and happy with all your hard work. And you, Vanessa, I am blown away. You are a natural at this.
Dolian gave her a round of applause, and everyone else joined in. Vanessa gave a shy curtsy.
And thank you, Rob, for coming today to play with us.
Dolian clapped, and again everyone applauded and cheered. Rob held his guitar and nodded his head and waved his hand.
Now, remember that we always bring our best for the Master, for the people, and for you, because they will give based on how much they liked you, your message, your performance. You are financially supported from their gifts as it was always designed, and it brings them joy knowing they give to God and to you because you have a special calling to feed the flock. So,
The better you perform, the more you and the Broadway makes. All of you are dismissed, and thank you again for your demonstrations today. If you plan to leave the building, be sure to check in and out. I'm sure you two have some catching up to do.
Dolian eyed Rob and Vanessa.
Have a wonderful rest of your day, ladies and gentlemen.
Everyone was chatting away as they left the great room until the only ones left were Rob and Vanessa. Chapter 12. Vanessa felt incredibly awkward. She hadn't seen her father in years, and he hadn't really tried to reach out to her other than sending a birthday card every year for her birthday with some cash inside. She had so many things to ask him, but didn't know where to start. She wasn't even sure if she wanted to start. So many emotions were building up inside of her from years of hurt and confusion. Vanessa felt happy, mad, grieved, and in a muddle all at the same time, that it bubbled all the way up and out, as when you shake up a soda can. She burst into tears and flopped onto a chair with her face in her hands. Rob came and sat next to his daughter and rubbed her back. Through her sobs, Vanessa cried, "Why? Why did you abandon us? I don't understand," she cried for several minutes while Rob tried to comfort his daughter. When she calmed down, she sat up and dried her face with her dress.
Vanessa, I have dedicated my life to serve the Master at Broadway. I have been enlightened to know that it is my gift and calling, and if I let anything get in the way of that, then I disobey him. I invited your mother to be a part of it with me, but she wasn't into it. She wasn't as dedicated, and I wasn't going to force her, so she left.
Mr. Lostwood explained.
"Don't you blame it all on Mom. She's been nothing but supportive and caring, and wanted what is best," Vanessa shot back. "You found yourself a new family that was richer and more attractive, and you liked being praised and worshipped. Trying to save your family would have hindered that." Her father paused a moment before he responded.
I'm not going to lie. I do make good money, and I do like and appreciate that my followers appreciate me and show me their support. But that is not why I didn't want to be with you or your mother. Like I said, I was committed to serving the Master loyally, which meant devoting all my time and effort to him. Let me read you a verse from the great book.
He opened it and showed it to Vanessa.
It says here, if anyone does not hate his father, mother, wife, children, brothers and sisters, yes, and his own life also, he cannot be my disciple, meaning our love and devotion to the Master would look like we hate our family in comparison. The Master even called his own followers to leave their families to follow him. Why would I be any different?
Vanessa thought hard about what her father was saying. She realized he felt in his heart he was supposed to serve the Broadway in order to serve the Master, and to not let anything stop him, because he wanted to be loyal. In a way, she could understand that and see from his perspective. She even admired that bravery to an extent. But the bitterness of hurt was still in her heart and needed healing.
I was so surprised when Dolian called and told me you were hired to work here.
Rob said, changing the topic.
I knew you would always do well here if you found your way. I could tell you were like me, bold, daring, energetic, enthusiastic, and not to mention good-looking.
Bumping Vanessa's shoulder with his. Vanessa rolled her eyes. Whatever, Dad. I really wish I didn't have to wear this thing. She gestured at her outfit.
What do you mean? I think you look great. You have to remember that we have to deny what we think and want so that we can honor the Master by attracting people to come. And we do and say the things that are encouraging so that they will be drawn to come and leave feeling hope, peace, and safety. We don't want to be so dull or aggressive that no one comes. How would we get paid? How would the Broadway expand?
Her father tried to reason. We shouldn't be taking money from the people, Vanessa stated. Something about all that doesn't seem right.
But then where should the money go?
I don't know. To help others in need?
It is helping others. It helps us continue to do the master's work. Think of it like a store that offers a product that you like. Your money goes to helping support that store, the employees, the supplies, the cost of the building. Tithing is something followers are called to do to show their loyalty to the master and to the Broadway.
I guess I see. So the Broadway's a business? Vanessa specified.
Well, yes, in a way. And a workman is worthy of his wages, as it is said,
Explained Rob. But it's more than a job. It's a faith. I can see that from talking with some of the other girls. My friend Lily helped me understand that.
Who works for something they don't want or believe in?
Right, Vanessa replied. All of it must be true for so many people to believe in it. Rob smiled at Vanessa.
I couldn't be prouder of you, Vanessa, and the woman you've become. I'm sorry for the hurt for you and your mother had to endure, but someday you will understand more fully what I am saying. If you ever want to get together and get a cup of coffee, just give me a call.
Vanessa gave her father a hug. You got it, Dad. Chapter 13. Over the next few days, Lily and Vanessa read and studied the great book together. Beth had advised them to begin reading the modern word and the master's teachings. Vanessa was blown away by the wisdom, love, and compassion the master had for all people, even for those who hated him. I don't get it. All he did was told people to do good and showed them all the love in the world, but they hated him, Vanessa said, perplexed. Yes, it is tragic. The one who was sent to save them, most rejected, but that was foretold would happen to him, and has come to pass. That's why we must believe in the master and confess he is above all, Lily replied. Vanessa thought for a moment, trying to take in all this information. It's hard to imagine it's that simple. The free gift he gave can just be achieved by belief and saying it out loud. Shouldn't we do more? I mean, he gave his whole life. Doesn't he even tell us to do the same and do good? Beth overheard the conversation and interjected. It sounds to me that you're saying that you can earn your salvation, Vanessa, as if the more good deeds you do buys your ticket into his kingdom. It sounds like you don't accept his free gift. Free, meaning you don't have to do anything for it other than believe. Of course I accept his gift. I'm humbled by it. But shouldn't we show him we believe by what we do? It is said in our great book, all our righteousness is as filthy rags. You may think you can do good deeds and be found righteous, but all of it is filth when you are trying to earn his gift. You cannot save yourself. So, no matter what you do, the master won't love you any more or any less. So, if we shouldn't do anything for the master, why do we work here? After all, this is working and it's for the master, right? Vanessa could see Beth was getting upset. Her eyes were cold, her lips pressed tight together, and her cheeks getting red. You already know the answer to this, Miss Vanessa. It is our duty. Not everyone has the same calling, but we have been called to perform to help draw others to the Broadway. But couldn't he do that himself? Vanessa asked. He could, I'm sure, but he chooses to use us as a way as well. He sent out his disciples and used them to do his work, didn't he? All of this was a bit confusing for Vanessa. She was sure she could, or should, trust what Beth was saying, but her heart was troubled. In the great book, it does say to just believe and confess and one will be saved, but it also says if anyone loves him, they will obey him. It also says that his gift is free, but then to also give everything to follow him. So many paradoxes. Something you need to understand, Vanessa, is that you will never be able to save yourself by making yourself righteous. We are all sinners and always will be in this flesh. But that's the beautiful part of the Master's gift, that while we were still sinners, he died for us, and his blood washes us yesterday, today, and forever. The gift of the Master is eternal life, not by our works, lest any of us boast. It is by his grace alone. At that, Beth left the room. Vanessa and Lily were left alone and both sat quietly for a minute. Thanks, Lily, for studying with me. I'm gonna need some time to think. I'll talk to you in a bit, Vanessa confessed. Of course. I'm still learning a lot, too, Lily replied, trying to make Vanessa feel a little bit better. Chapter 14. The rest of the week flew by as Vanessa rehearsed her performance and speech she would give for the weekend. This new life at the Broadway certainly kept her busy with all the learning and practicing she was responsible for. After all, she was told that her pay was based on how well she performed. She hoped that as she got the hang of things, she would have more free time. Vanessa also learned something else new. There were in fact 2 performance days, Saturday and Sunday. There are some members that believe the right day to attend is on Saturday, so we are open to them as well. We are all things to all people, as one of the apostles in the great book said, Beth explained. It was Friday night, and Vanessa had the pre-performance nerves. She decided to call her friend Roxy. The phone rang a few times. Then she heard Roxy's bubbly voice. Vanessa! Long time no see! Or talk! What's up, lady? Vanessa giggled, listening to her best friend's chipper voice. Hey, Roxy. I know it's super last minute, but do you want to meet up at Indulgence? I just got off work, so that'd be perfect. What time? 10 minutes? Totally. I'll get us a table. Okay, great. I'll see you there. Vanessa put on her cutest outfit, a yellow dress, jeggings, and tall boots. She grabbed her purse and began to head out the door. Before she left the apartment, Beth called out. Why, Vanessa, don't you look darling? What's the occasion? Vanessa replied somewhat dryly. I'm meeting a friend. Oh, how sweet. I just want to remind you of the 10 o'clock curfew, so don't be late. Make sure you sign in and out when you're back. Vanessa gave a quick thank you and closed the door behind her. As she headed down towards the stairs, she glanced down the hall. A few of the other girls were there giggling and flirting with some of the guys. It was so cringy to watch the girls twirling their hair and laughing at everything the guys said. The guys were not much better, slightly flexing as they recline against the wall or wrestling a bit in the hall. Though she felt the urge to roll her eyes, she also had a yearning for some of that attention in a way. One of the guys in the hall was her partner, Chris. He was leaning on one hand against the wall with a leg cocked, facing the girls. Then he turned and met Vanessa's gaze. She gave a small wave, but kept walking.
Hey, Vanessa, hold up, partner.
Chris yelled after her. He came running over and tipped his hat to her. He looked her over and gave a cheesy side smile.
Don't you look purty?
Thanks, Vanessa said shyly. Something inside fluttered, enjoying the attention, but she also felt wrong to accept it from Chris, a married man. She quickly looked down and sputtered, I gotta go. I'm meeting a friend. Excuse me. She stepped swiftly away and down the stairs. She could hear Chris yell out,
Looking forward to tomorrow.
Before she left the building, she waved her hand under the sign-in machine. Bing! See you soon, Vanessa Lostwood. She pushed open the doors and the fresh wind blew in her face, pushing her hair back. It felt so nice, so free. She took a deep breath in and began her walk. It would take her about 7 minutes to get to Indulgence. When she approached the restaurant, she could already smell the delicious food and the clamor of noise. Right away, she was greeted by the host when she stepped inside. Hi, I'm meeting my friend here. Vanessa peered around the house and looked to the back corner where their favorite table was. It had the prettiest chandelier and the best spot to watch all the people coming and going. Sure enough, there was Roxy. Oh, I see her, thank you. Vanessa waved and walked to the back. As she neared her friend, a flood of emotion swelled inside her. Roxy, seeing Vanessa, jumped up and skipped to her friend. As they hugged, Vanessa burst into tears. Whoa, Vanessa, are you okay? What's wrong? Roxy hugged her friend tight. It's okay, calm down. What is going on? She looked at Vanessa with concern. I know. I'm sorry. Vanessa sniffled. She smiled through her tears at Roxy. I'm all right. Just so much has happened. I didn't realize I had so much bottled up. It's so good to see you. Well, come on. Let's sit down and tell me about it. I ordered a Shirley Temple's, our favorite, Roxy said with a wink. Vanessa told Roxy everything, from getting hired, finding out Mom knows about Dolian, meeting the girls and her father, the conflicting feelings with her partner, and everything she'd been learning and trying to understand. Wow, no wonder you're emotional. That's a lot to swallow in a week, Roxy said, leaning back in her seat, stretching her arms. Right. Not to mention my first performance is tomorrow. I feel like I'm drowning a bit. Vanessa tried to laugh it off, but buried her face in her hands. Vanessa, you're going to do great, no doubt. It sounds like everyone else believes in you, too. Relax and just have fun. Be you, Roxy encouraged. Your job sounds so neat and has so much opportunity. Yeah, it does. I'm realizing it's more than just a job, though. Vanessa paused, thinking how to explain. It's a way of life, and it's part of my job to help others find and believe in that way of life. So I must believe in it, and more than believe, live it. Otherwise, my work is fake, or at least not as meaningful and effective as it could be. Says who? Movie actors do that stuff all the time. They just play their parts so well that it seems believable. I would think you could do the same, Roxy retorted. But if I do believe in this, the Broadway, I mean, it would make me more passionate and the message more powerful. I can see what you're saying. I've come to learn so much in just a week that in some ways I feel more confused. Beth and the other girls make the way seem too easy almost, and I'm just not so sure. I've learned a lot about the Master, his teachings, his life, his purpose, and it seems he wants our whole life, not just our belief. His ways seem hard, yet full of hope and purpose. But any time I ask of these things, Beth seems to always tell me, "You're just trying to save yourself." I'm just trying to do what's right. What? Why are you looking at me like that? Roxy had one eyebrow raised and was leaning back on one arm. She shifted forward and held her glass in both hands, looking down. It seems you're maybe taking this master thing too far. Roxy looked up with sorry eyes and concern for her friend. I think Beth could be on to something. If it was too hard, not many people would make it. And wouldn't the master want people to be saved? I think believing in his grace and goodness is more than enough, and we just have to focus on being good, moral people. Vanessa took hold of her fork and nudged a few tomatoes on her plate. Roxy was her best friend, since they were young. They were always there for one another, and they knew everything about each other. Vanessa knew she could always trust Roxy and count on her. She was the more logical one of the two, but Vanessa felt torn by what she felt in her heart and heeding the advice of her dearest friend. Do you really think I'm overthinking it all? You're my best friend, Roxy, and I trust you. You're overthinking it. You've had a lot going on, so I totally see how you're stressed out. It's just hard for me to believe that it's as narrow as you're making it. There's a lot of good out there, and that's what we have to champion, Roxy said, taking hold of Vanessa's hands. Vanessa smiled. Maybe you're right, Roxy. I'll definitely think on that. You're right that the Master loves all people and wishes none to perish. I can have more of that positive look, too. Vanessa glanced at her watch. 9:58? Oh, man, I gotta go. I'm so sorry I have to leave like this. I need to get back at 10. Vanessa scrambled to her feet. I'll get the bill. Don't worry about it. Roxy waved her hand, saying, go. Thanks so much, Roxy. I owe you. Talk to you later. They blew each other a small kiss, and Vanessa ran out the door and all the way to the Broadway. When she approached the door, a few security guards stood just outside, staring at Vanessa. Hi, guys, Vanessa said sheepishly.
You're late, Miss Lostwood.
I know, I'm sorry. It's only a few minutes. I just lost track of time. I was with my best friend at dinner, and it was just so nice.
It's your job to make sure you're back in time, so we know you are safe.
From what? There was a slight pause before any of the security guards responded.
From those that wish to steal you through deceit.
At this, Vanessa slightly laughed. I don't think you need to worry about that, boys, she said as she walked past and through the doors.
It has happened before to girls, women, boy, and men.
Another guard said without looking back at her. Confused and a bit creeped out by what he meant, Vanessa checked in and went straight upstairs. That night, she tossed and turned, having dreams of floods that nearly drowned her, and no matter who she called to, no one could help save her. Each time she would wake herself up, gasping for breath. Chapter 15. Vanessa stood looking out the window in the apartment, watching all the cars and people arrive. Lily came and stood next to her. It's a little nerve-wracking seeing everyone. But don't worry, V. You've got this, Lily said with a smile and a warm hand on her shoulder. V was her new nickname. Vanessa didn't mind it much. She preferred it over being called Nessie the Lostwood Monster by a boy named Tanner who teased her in 4th grade. Thanks for the encouragement, Lily. You've been so kind and helped me so much here. You're a true friend. Vanessa hugged Lily. You ready? Lily asked. It's showtime, Vanessa said, fluffing her hair and adjusting her dress. All the girls and guys lined up in the hall next to their partner. Chris could see the focus on Vanessa's face and chuckled.
Lighten up, partner.
Adding an elbow nudge.
Try that pretty smile of yours.
Right. How's this? Vanessa gave the biggest smile she possibly could. Chris laughed heartily.
Whoa now. I said a pretty smile.
They all stood in line just like they did on demonstration day outside the doors to the great room. Dolian was there to greet them.
Good day to all my handsome and lovely performers. This is it. Many have come today to be lifted, encouraged, enlightened, entertained. Eat and drink the food in which you will give them. Draw them, connect with them, woo them, feed them.
Each time his voice got a bit louder and drew his hands into his chest. He gazed at Vanessa and walked up to her. Taking both her hands, he spoke softly.
You must be nervous, but have no fear. I know you will do well for me.
And for the master, of course, Vanessa added, looking into Dolian's dark eyes. He laughed somewhat a deranged laugh.
Why, yes, of course, darling Vanessa.
His voice hissed her name. Dolian squeezed her hands a bit too hard to where she winced. He dropped them, spun around, and walked away with his hands clasped behind him.
But, of course, you do need to work for me, so it still remains true that you should do well for me.
Vanessa uttered softly, "Yes, sir," while she rubbed her hands.
Good, all is understood then, and now, ladies and gentlemen, go, fulfill your purpose.
And he swung the doors open for the first set of performers. Chris motioned for Vanessa to come close.
Just do your best to keep peace with Dolian. He ain't a force to reckon with. Oh, maybe he is a force to reckon with,
he advised.
I've seen what happens to folks that get on his bad side.
Like what? Vanessa whispered, full of curiosity.
All sorts of trouble, from losing jobs to lives being threatened.
What? No, that sounds horrible and manipulative.
No, I wouldn't go that far. He is right, ain't he, that if we go against the way, we'll be cut off from the living and die, won't we?
Chris tried to reason. Vanessa remembered the conversation Beth had with her, how the Broadway is like a tree, and the people are like the branches. Chris was speaking the same message. But could that really be it? She was pretty certain she'd read that the master was the true vine, or tree in this case. Roxy's words flooded her mind. I think you're taking this master thing too far. Beth may be onto something. Vanessa slowly shook her head, closed her eyes, and sighed. Okay, I'll try to relax, she told herself. Upon opening her eyes, the doors opened for her and Chris. Into the room he bounded, and a moment later she joined him. They danced beautifully and in sync, invoking much emotion and passion. Some in the crowd clapped and cheered, some murmured, "Amen," and some even joined them in dancing. Most, however, respectfully watched. Vanessa tried to see her audience, but was unable because the room was so dark where they sat, except for a small dim light in the middle of the table so that they could see enough to make notes about the performers and which they liked best and would want to support. On the stage, she took a moment to catch her breath. The musicians played soothing ambiance notes as a droning noise in the background. As Vanessa presented her speech, the music moved with her and the amount of passion she used in her voice. She noticed from the corner of her eye that Chris held up his hands and his eyes closed, saying something softly. When she was finished, she wasn't totally sure what to do next. There was a slight pause, and then she gave a soft, "Thank you," and curtsied and walked off stage with Chris. He led her behind the stage where everyone cheered for her.
Well done, V. You were amazing.
Chris squeezed her shoulder and went to stand with the men. Lily ran up and gave her a hug. From behind them, Dolian's voice rang out.
Bravo! Splendid, magnificent, excellent, all words that describe my wonderful employees.
He walked through the group as they parted for him.
No doubt you all moved the people a good deal this weekend, and shall reap your reward. And Vanessa, excellent work on your first performance. I anticipate many more to come.
Vanessa blushed. Thank you, Dolian, and thank you all for helping and believing in me. Everyone clapped. The next day was a repeat of the day prior. Another good turnout and another exceptional performance. Dolian announced behind stage that there were high numbers of attendance, most likely due to the good report from the members who came Saturday.
Keep up the good work, all of you,
he said, rubbing his hands together.
Certainly your efforts will not be in vain. It will reflect in your pay, of course, but you can know how pleased I am and the master is of your diligence.
Dolian went around and shook everybody's hand. After the service, Vanessa half-walked, half-skipped to the greeting room to meet her mother. There she was, sitting in a chair with 2 hot coffees. "Mom!" Vanessa waved with a big grin. Her mother jumped up with both arms open to embrace her daughter. "Honey, you were magnificent! Honestly, you were the best one," her mother beamed. "Yeah, right, Mom, but thanks for the encouragement." Her mom kept telling her how refreshing it was to be at the Broadway again, surrounded by mostly like-minded people. But even better than that, she could watch and support Vanessa. "You better believe it that I put in my support for you," her mother said, raising her eyebrows while sipping her coffee. Vanessa smiled. As they continued talking in the greeting room, several families waved and praised Vanessa as they passed by. She had to admit she loved the attention and feeling admired, especially when the young girls walked by with stars in their eyes like they were looking at someone famous. Too soon, though, her mother had to go. "Vanessa, I'm so proud of you and how well you are doing, and in such a short amount of time. I'll see you next week." She gave Vanessa a kiss and a hug, then turned to leave. Vanessa felt exhausted from the previous busy and emotional week. She went right up to her room and changed into lounging clothes. Soon after, Beth went around passing out envelopes to each girl. "Your pay, my dear. You deserve it." Beth winked as she handed Vanessa her envelope. "Thank you," Vanessa replied. When she was alone, she opened the envelope. Her eyes popped out of her head when she read, $666? Wow! And imagine each week getting this much. Her eyes just glistened, thinking of all the things that she could do and get with this much. She was beginning to like this place more and more. Chapter 16. Time at the Broadway passed quickly. Several years had gone by since Vanessa began working for Dolian. She helped lead and serve in many different programs, such as service outreach, children's care, and women's study groups. Everyone loved her and admired her, which is what she thrived off of. Of course, she was handsomely paid each week, but that didn't drive her quite as much as feeling desired from both men and women. Vanessa also became so comfortable and good at her job and routine that she had much more free time to do what she enjoyed: going to parties, indulging with her friends, going on dates, vegging out on fleshly entertainment. Her life, she felt, had never been more rich. Although, even with all these earthly riches, there was still an emptiness in her heart that she couldn't fully get rid of, and just tried to ignore. It was helpful that any time she felt like doubting or questioning herself, she could always count on her friends and family to guide her the right way. The more involved she was at the Broadway, and the more she listened to her mentors, the emptiness would fade away. It did, until one night when Vanessa had a dream. In her dream, she was betrothed to a man who was average in appearance with dark wavy hair and hazel eyes. He was the perfect height for Vanessa, and he was strong. His manner was kind and honest, and he was full of love for her, and she loved him. Vanessa did all she could to make her fiancé happy, and likewise, he was always there for her. They both were happy and content, until one day she met another man. This man was very handsome in appearance, with dark hair and dark eyes. His speech was smooth and enticing, flattering her with romantic words. He promised her many things if she would take him in marriage: love, money, fame, security, beauty, lifelong happiness. Some of those around her encouraged her for this new, mysteriously attractive man and envied her for such an opportunity. Vanessa agreed to marry this new man and began planning right away. Though she felt a little guilty to betray her first love, she believed this had to be the right thing. So she told the first man their engagement was off. He was heartbroken and wanted her to stay, but let her go. It was soon the day of the wedding to the second man. Vanessa was so excited and felt like she had made the right choice. This new man wooed her and flattered her and made her feel so good. The wedding hall was filled with people to participate in the ceremony. Once they were wed, they went to their table, but there was something wrong. There were several other women seated there already as brides. Her now husband went over and took each one in his arms with fire of lust in his eyes, then beckoned Vanessa to come. She felt tricked, fooled, ashamed, and crushed. This man had lied to her and made her feel like something special. But now she saw that she was only one of many loves and unhappy. And the one that truly did love her, she rejected for this lie. Vanessa woke herself crying in her sleep. She took a few deep breaths while she was trying to decide if she only had a dream or if it really happened. What a nightmare, Vanessa thought. She was deeply disturbed by the dream. As anyone knows, some dreams come with interpretation right away, while others come in time. For Vanessa, this was one dream she knew its meaning right away in her heart, although she couldn't understand how it could be true. Or maybe it would be more accurate to say she didn't want it to be true. As she lay staring at the ceiling, she complained to herself, trying to explain away its meaning. How is it that I've left my first love? I thought I was always with him and doing better than ever before. I've served him faithfully for years here. I listen and follow the teachings of my leaders and friends to be more loving and accepting. And I am loved and appreciated by everyone. I've grown in my understanding of the way, and I diligently pay my dues here. I've only proven my loyalty more to the master by being faithful here to the Broadway. Vanessa stopped there in her thought. That was it, and she couldn't deny it. No longer was she wholly devoted to the master, trying to do what was right before him, but found another, therefore abandoning the first. Vanessa's heart ached, and she began to sob bitterly, feeling so much guilt. She felt the same as one of the master's followers who had denied him 3 times. Except Vanessa had denied him more. Thinking back, every time she had conviction, she denied the master by listening to those around her, who tickled her ears with a much more attractive way. Master, please forgive me, Vanessa pleaded between tears. I didn't mean to leave you, but I did, and I'm sorry. Please help me understand and come back to you. After several minutes of crying, Vanessa fell back to sleep. The next day was performance day. Groggy from poor night's sleep and crying, Vanessa arose and made an extra strong cup of coffee to hopefully help her puffy eyes. It was dawn and the sky was just beginning to lighten up. No one else was awake yet, and Vanessa appreciated the quiet. She took her cup of coffee and sat next to the window to think and pray. The sun was just starting to lighten the sky from black to a dark grayish blue, and the stars were out still twinkling. Vanessa felt so lost and afraid. She didn't know where to start to get back on track with the master. She prayed and sighed. How? What do I need to do, master? I don't know the way. She closed her eyes, trying hard to listen, self-evaluate, and understand. There was a still, soft voice that spoke to her. So soft, she almost missed it.
You know the way. I am the way. I am the good shepherd. My sheep hear me and follow me. I am the teacher. You have no need for another. If you are thirsty, come and drink. If you are hungry, I am the bread of life.
Vanessa wasn't sure if her mind was making this all up or not, but she decided to believe it was the master because it spoke truth. Oh, master, please forgive me. I want you as my love and no other. I don't deserve your love, but I need you because I know only you have life. Help me understand.
Ask, and it shall be given. Seek, and you shall find. Knock, and it will be opened. But you must ask with a sincere heart and in faith. You must count the cost and not look back. He who looks back is not worthy of me. Truly I am jealous for you and will not accept love to another. You must choose one master.
But I thought you were my master.
Most do, but most will not inherit my kingdom because they have not made themselves ready. With their lips they profess me, and they have an appearance of godliness, but they are whitewashed tombs full of dead bones. Their faith and works are dead, and will be rejected, just as I rejected it in the Pharisees. They are deceiving and being deceived, refusing to come to me because they believe men's doctrines and lies over my truth. This is the judgment, that the light has come into the world, but the world loves darkness. And though they say they can see and hear, they are blind and deaf. For this my wrath is kindled against her.
Her?
The Broadway. She is in great apostasy, and many will receive her punishment unless they repent and come out to be pure and holy. But they have become drunk with her immorality. She has put them to sleep with her sorcery, and quenched my spirit. I am the Lord, and I am coming quickly to render to every man according to his deeds.
Lord, Vanessa could hardly breathe. Her stomach was in her throat. What must I do? Chapter 17. V? You're up early. You okay? Lily had quietly come up beside Vanessa that it startled her so much. So much so that she jumped up and her coffee sloshed onto her lap. Oops, sorry, Lily giggled. I didn't mean to startle you that bad. Lily handed Vanessa a towel. Vanessa took a deep breath and let it out slow. Her heart and mind were racing, and not just because Lily scared her. Hey, Lily. Good morning. I was, praying. I figured, since you said Lord, not that I was trying to eavesdrop or anything, Lily tried to explain with a sheepish laugh. So, is something troubling you? You seem stressed. Lily, so much is troubling me. I've gotten off the path to the kingdom. I've forgotten my first love. We all have. Vanessa closed her eyes and put her head in her hand. What do you mean? Lily asked, confused. I had a horrible dream, and in it I left my first love I was to marry for someone else I thought and was told would be better, and ended up in a worse place. I knew in my heart the meaning, though I didn't want to believe it. I've left the master for the Broadway. Vanessa began to cry. Lily lay a hand on Vanessa's knee. That can't be true, V. You have served him faithfully here for the last several years. That's the problem. I was just talking with him, the master, while I was praying and asking for understanding. He spoke to me, Lily. It's true, just like the great book says, how his sheep hear his voice. I've been ignoring his voice all this time and even forgot it until this morning. For so long I pushed him away to listen to others. I've never heard him. Why can't I hear him? Have you tried? You must have a sincere heart and faith and persistence. That's what he told me. Well, what's he like? He's like a father, full of love and mercy, but also very just and stern. And I didn't hear him in my ear exactly. It was more inside. I thought it was just me thinking at first and almost wrote it off. But I desperately wanted him, Lily. I also figured that I couldn't go wrong listening to this voice, if it only spoke truth and is pointing me to him. The more I listened and acknowledged it was him, the more I knew in my heart it was. So what did he say? Vanessa was surprised how interested Lily was and didn't just think her strange. The Broadway, Lily, is the wrong way. She spoke slowly and in a solemn tone. I don't really understand everything yet, but the master said it's an apostasy. It looks good on the outside, but the inside is dirty, making everything in it unclean. What? How? I thought everything we did here was good and what he wants. That's what we think he wants and what we've been told. But it sounds like he isn't happy with it. I'm not so sure that it is the right way. We all know that there is much hypocrisy here, and the great book tells us how the master feels about hypocrisy. Again, I don't really understand everything yet. He told me the Broadway is leading people in immorality, and I have a bad feeling that what we're doing is only making the wrong way look good. Ah, what a horrible thought. But what if it's true? Then everything I've ever known is a lie. It very well may be one of the best deceptions, truth mixed with lies. And that's why the master must be saying it's apostate and his judgment is coming. Coming? Today? I have no idea when. The master says no one knows the time or the hour, so that means we have to be ready today, just in case. What do we do, V? That's what I'm not sure on yet. But I feel in my heart there will be big change. There was a moment of silence between them. So many questions without many answers. But Vanessa did know for certain that she wanted the master no matter the cost. Vanessa didn't know how she would explain this revelation to the others and what they might think. But she hoped that Lily would at least understand. Do you think I'm crazy? She asked Lily. Yes. But I must be crazy too, because I believe you. I just need the master to tell me too. I know I can trust you, V, but I guess I need him to speak to me. He will, Lily. I know it. Just ask and don't give up. Just like that story the master told about the man asking his neighbor for bread in the middle of the night. He didn't stop asking until he got what he needed. Don't stop asking. The master wants us to come to him and see that we're serious. Vanessa put a hand on Lily's shoulder and gave a reassuring smile. At that moment, they heard alarm clocks ringing, signaling the rest of the ladies to get up and ready for performing. Chapter 18. As Vanessa dressed, her stomach was churning. She was unsure if she should perform or not now with all this information she just learned from the master. Not to mention, she felt awkwardly naked in her costume, something she hadn't felt since her first time at the Broadway. "What do I do, master?" Vanessa kept asking, but wasn't getting an answer. "You are awfully quiet today, Vanessa. Are you well?" Beth inquired. "I just have a lot on my mind is all," Vanessa answered, trying to avoid discussion. "Would you like to talk about it?" "No, not right now. I don't feel quite ready or my thoughts in order yet. But thanks." Vanessa was feeling hot and nervous. When would she tell the others? "Well, my dear, we know that we can cast all our cares on the master to help clear our mind. And you must, so you're able to do his work without any hindrances." "I have cast my cares on him and asking him for help, but he's not answering," Vanessa thought, a bit flustered. Beth continued, "There are many wise and good people here you can trust to talk to and ask for guidance when you're ready." With that, Beth gave a quick, contrite smile and walked away. "But I don't want to talk to people. I want him to be my teacher," Vanessa uttered quietly to herself. It was time to line up and head downstairs. She was so anxious. She didn't even hear Chris trying to talk to her. She was lost, desperately trying to hear any answer from the master.
Vanessa, hey, wake up. We're up next.
Chris clapped in her face. "What? Oh, all right, I guess," was all she could say. Seeing that Vanessa hesitated, Chris pulled her in with him. She tried to get into it and feel the music, but she couldn't. She felt stiff and awkward. Chris motioned her to twirl to him. It felt like every second was dragging on and how she wished to run away. But she obeyed the command because she didn't know what else to do. As he spun her out near the front of the aisle, she met eyes with a man she recognized. "It's you," she gasped. It was the man in her dream, her first love. How could it be true? But it was. He sat in the front row where the light from the stage shone on his face. There was no mistaking him. He watched her with eyes that pierced her heart. It was a mixture of tender love, but also deep sadness. He was calling her, though he said nothing. Vanessa was yanked by Chris to follow him to the stage. She went, but kept looking over her shoulder at the man. Walking to the stage, Vanessa could hear some of the congregation murmuring to each other. What's wrong with her? She must not be feeling well. Up too late partying, I'd say. There was a combination of sneering, hissing, and laughing. There were a few that had a look of pity on their face. Vanessa began to feel a panic rise inside of her. As Chris led her up the stairs to the stage, she whispered to him, "I can't."
What? You have to.
"No, I can't," she repeated, pulling herself away from him and stopping on the stairs. She held herself like she was cold and with big, fearful eyes looking at the man from her dream. Frustrated and annoyed, Chris pushed past her and put on a handsome smile for the crowd. He smoothly finished the show while Vanessa tried to melt away on the steps. She kept looking at the man and then let her gaze fall. She couldn't withstand his unceasing stare. When Chris finished, she quickly left for the back room. She didn't want to talk to anyone because she knew everyone noticed how off she was. She covered her face with her hair and brushed through the group. Her eyes stung with tears. She could hear everyone gossiping, saying, "What's up with her?" Vanessa walked out the door that led outside to a labyrinth garden. How she wished she really could get lost, which matched how lost she felt inside. Once she felt tucked away enough in a corner of the garden, she sank to the ground and wept. Not too long after, she heard her name.
Vanessa.
It was a voice she recognized. Fear, happiness, and anger welled inside of her. Looking up through blurry vision, she saw the man in her dream.
Vanessa.
He said again, with such tenderness it melted her heart instantly. Master, she said, getting on her knees, you left me. Why didn't you answer when I called for help? Now I look like such a fool because you didn't tell me what to do in time. He didn't answer in rage or impatience, but in love and understanding.
Daughter, I am never far, though I may be quiet and unseen. Did I not say, come out and be separate? Did I not tell you, she is in apostasy? And many defile their garments because they indulge themselves with her lusts?
Vanessa dropped her head. Yes, Lord, you did. I suppose I should have taken the hint then. I guess it's because I still don't understand what you want of me, what you mean, what to do. Is it just for me or for everyone? Is it just this Broadway or all of them? Please help me understand, she begged.
From the beginning of time, I have always wanted to be your God, everyone's God, and for them to be my people. Out of love, I created all people to be one with me, and I would take care of all needs as a good father cares for his children. From the beginning, there has always been a promise of faithfulness and blessing, as long as anyone would obey my commands and abide in me. On the other hand, there also has always been a promise that if anyone does not obey my commands and follows another, there will only be harsh pain and death. Throughout time, the very people I created have chosen to follow and worship creation rather than me, the Creator. They have turned their eyes, ears, hearts to logic, knowledge, and what is tangible, things that have been created by man. Professing to be wise, they have become fools. And what may begin with good intention quickly becomes perversion because of corruption which is in the heart. So unless one truly is born again of my Spirit, he cannot enter the kingdom of heaven. If anyone claims to be a disciple of mine, he must deny himself, his understanding, his desires, his very life, pick up his cross and follow me. Not men, for they are not teachers, nor are they Savior. And if anyone wishes to be a disciple of mine, he must purify himself from all unrighteousness, for only the righteous will inherit my kingdom.
I see, Lord. I see how much you desire a personal relationship with everyone, and you wish none to perish because you love them as a father. And I understand how people have continued to turn away from you to follow their own lusts, which makes them disqualified from your kingdom unless they repent. Please forgive me. But what exactly does this have to do with the Broadway? I know you said it's apostate, but how? I really thought it was the right way, and there are so many people who believe it is the right way and have good hearts. They seem really sincere in wanting to do what's right. So how could it all be so bad?
The Broadway, Vanessa, is a creation of man. Just as a prostitute has many loves, so does the Broadway and those in it. Love of money, love of fame, love of knowledge, love of power. It is a business that takes advantage of the innocent by controlling and manipulating my truth for their gain. It has become a dwelling place of demons and every unclean thing. I have not come for a defiled harlot, but for a bride, but one that has purified herself and is faithful to me. You were right when you mentioned to Lily that what you do only makes the Broadway look good. You have flaunted yourself with haughty eyes to draw people to a deception. You have taken the flattery, admiration, and praise of the people, which should have gone to me. You have bent your knee to do whatever you have been told, rather than listening to my voice. The other performers do the same, some knowingly and some unknowingly. It is not only the performers I have a grievance against. Have you wondered why the congregation always sits in darkness, and you are not able to see them? It is because they do not want their evil deeds exposed. They want an appearance of godliness, but do not want to let go of their worldly pleasures. They are like the Laodicean church, lukewarm, neither hot nor cold, and how I wish they were one or the other. And the Broadway has only encouraged them in that way by telling them lies that they can never stop sinning, but not to fear, because my grace will cover over them. Woe to them! My grace runs out for the willful sinner. My precious blood that I shed was not spilled on the ground for people to be slaves of sin. They have abused my grace and my love to fit their mold of who I should be. It is not me they serve. It is a god of their imagination, their understanding, their doctrine. Their tithe is an outrage. It is not for me, but it is for them and their fantasy that they want to support. Whoever has the most appeal, whoever has the smoothest words, whoever will tell them what they want to hear is who they support. It is not me their hearts desire, or they would come to me and I would speak to them. I tell you, unless they repent, they will never see my rest.
Vanessa was silent. She didn't know what to say. She could see the master had so much love, sadness, and vengeance in the words he spoke. She felt ashamed of how she lived her life, now that she understood how the master viewed her and what she did at the Broadway. She felt such little hope for the Broadway and those in it. All she could mutter was, "I'm so sorry." She couldn't even look him in the eyes, but instead of being struck dead, she felt a gentle hand on her shoulder. Looking up in the master's eyes, she saw tears in his.
Your sins are forgiven, but you must go and sin no more. Touch nothing that is unclean. Know that it will only get harder from here, but I will always be with you and help you have my authority and power over evil. With me, nothing is impossible, and with me there will always be victory if you endure to the end.
Thank you, Master. Thank you. One thing I don't understand is why you don't just make people see the truth. I know you don't want any to perish, so why don't you intervene? You can do anything.
There is something I cannot do. I cannot, or rather will not, take away a person's will. It is a gift I gave, but sadly that gift has become a curse. The curse of choosing what is wrong and sinful, which leads to death. Because I love them, I give everyone their own will to choose who they will follow. This also shows me who truly loves me, because it is a choice and not an obligation. But there is always hope as long as someone has breath in their lungs to repent and turn to me. I have sent the call, my invitation to my wedding, to all the ends of the earth. So today, if you or anyone hears my voice, do not harden your heart, but come to me and I will give you rest. The rest and peace every soul longs for.
Please, Master, do I have time to try to warn the others?
There is no time to waste. Be bold and strong. Do not forget I am with you, though it may not feel like it. I will not always speak so clearly with you. Keep your faith strong in what you know and have heard and are convinced of. Protect what is precious to you. Come out and be holy as I am holy.
Chapter 19. Vanessa had been gone in the garden for quite some time. By the time she finally felt refreshed enough and mustered up the courage to face the others, the sun was already beginning to set. It was that time of day when the sun is getting low and there's a gold hue everywhere and feels somewhat dreamy. As quietly as she could, she walked back upstairs to the apartment. Vanessa felt sick to her stomach, and her hands began to sweat, knowing she was undoubtedly going to share everything with the girls. She opened the door, and the women were all spread out doing their own thing. They didn't even seem to notice Vanessa come in. No hello, no concern of her well-being, not even any eye contact. So she started to walk toward her room to change, just as Lily came around the corner. She gasped and hugged Vanessa tight, and then looked at her friend in the eyes. "Are you okay?" Lily asked. Beth, who had been sitting at the table, called to Vanessa without looking up. "Vanessa, please come and sit." Lily and Vanessa exchanged silent glances at each other, then walked over to the table. "I'm glad to see you've come back all right, my dear. I hope after some alone time you now have some peace and are ready to move on," Beth said. "Yes, I am. I have the clarity I needed on my next steps," Vanessa replied. "Very good. And now here is your out of the Broadway," Vanessa continued over Beth, who was holding out Vanessa's paycheck. There was dead silence in the room. More than there was even to begin with. Vanessa now had everyone's full attention. Lily gasped. "What?" from pure shock. Beth's face began to turn red and the paper in her hand shake. Slamming it onto the table, she sat back in her chair and took a few deep breaths. "What do you mean, leave the Broadway?" "I'm sorry, but I quit. I can't be here any longer. My heart won't allow it. I now have my eyes opened to the truth of all of this, that the Broadway is not the truth, but a deception to lead people away from the very God that we profess, because we have turned it into a lie. We have put the Master in a box that we have created from our own understanding, doctrines, traditions. We have stood in the place of the teacher when he alone should be the teacher. We have taken advantage of the weak and vulnerable to control them for power and money. We accept the praise and honor from man when it should go to him, and we have sought to please man over pleasing our Father." Again, there was such a thick silence, it was difficult to breathe. Vanessa just dropped a huge bomb on all of them, and none of them were expecting it. Beth glared up at Vanessa, but tried to sound calm. "And who has given you this enlightenment?" "It started with a dream, and in it the Master told me—" Vanessa didn't finish her sentence when Beth began to laugh. "A dream? This is all over a silly dream," Beth laughed again. "Oh, it isn't just a dream, Beth. It was real, a real message from the Master that many of us here have left our first love, being the Master for this delusion. And worse, some never had him as their first love at all. They were just wolves. We've played the harlot in the Master's eyes, leaving him for our own lusts and understandings." "Vanessa, this is quite enough. You should not be so foolish to trust all dreams. Many are polluted with the enemy's lies and our own thoughts and fantasies. Neither should you heed every voice, for many false and lying words may be whispered in your ear that may have an appearance of the truth but are not. The great book tells us to test all spirits, for not all come from God." "Yes, exactly. And that's what I did. And I know it to be true in my heart, that it was indeed the Master who both gave me this dream and spoke to me, that I may understand how to please him. A devil would not have given me the guidance to be right with God, would it?" "Of course not. But the Master would not be calling what is of him unholy, would he? And we can know this is of him because we speak of him, encourage others, show his love and acceptance of all, and help sharpen one another, especially as we see the day approaching. We have only been practicing and upholding his way for centuries to help people of all nations find their way through the enlightenment he gives us through his word. And do you really think that we could accomplish this by becoming separatists and living a life of solitude where we can be more easily misguided? How would this be helpful or fruitful? We would be abandoning them all. To this, all the other girls began whispering and nodding their heads in agreement with Beth. Vanessa's heart began to sink, and her courage began to dwindle when she heard inside,
"Do not lose heart. I am with you. They have manipulated my way for their gain, that they may try to walk the way of the world and me at the same time. It is an impossibility."
"You're wrong, Beth. This place has an appearance of godliness, but it is not what the Master desires. We have become lukewarm, mixing what is holy with what's unholy, and expecting that his grace will just cover over us. We all know that we are trying to walk with him, yet indulging in the world, our flesh, at the same time. We are defiled brides, but the Master is giving us the call to come out of this corrupt business, come out of the world, and purify ourselves so that we will not be turned away." At this point, Beth was now clearly upset. She stood quickly from her chair, her face turning red, tight lips and wide eyes. "How dare you be so judgmental? All of us here claim the name of the Master and have served him faithfully. You must have forgotten that it is by his grace that any of us can have salvation, and that it is given to all who call on him." "Yes, that's true that he is full of grace and mercy, but the problem is still that we expect we can have his salvation without making ourselves pure and separate from the world. Then, to make it worse, we encourage everyone else in this same false idea, claiming that we will never stop sinning. But isn't that the very reason why the Master died for us? So we would not be slaves of sin? For this reason, his grace has run out, just like it says in the great book, that if we keep on sinning willfully, then we no longer are under his grace, but his wrath. And what about where the Master says many will call on him, and he'll turn them away? And they did so many great and wonderful things in his name, but what did he say to them?" Lily was the one who answered. Her face was pale, and her eyes full of worry. "Go away from me, you who sin." There was murmuring amongst the girls. There was a division, for some were nodding in agreement with Vanessa, but most were shaking their heads in disapproval. Regardless of the side they were on, it was clear that their hearts were being stirred. Vanessa looked at her friend and gave a small smile. "I only share these things with you because I love you all and care for you. We must make ourselves clean if we want his freedom and life." "I have had enough. You think you can come in here and rebuke us, who have only helped you and shown you the way? You are still so young in faith, and even as a lady. You're not even 25 years yet, and you think you can teach us? We must speak with Dolian at once." Beth walked to Vanessa and took her by the wrist. Lily reached out for her friend to try to stop her from leaving, but Vanessa spoke with a calm voice. "It's going to be all right." Chapter 20. Beth pounded on the security door while still holding on to Vanessa. One of the men answered,
"Hello, Madame Beth. On what business do you come to see Dolian?"
"Of the most importance. I'd like a discussion with him and Vanessa here." Beth spoke coolly.
The security came back a moment later and escorted them back into Dolian's office. Dolian sat in his high-backed chair, this time holding his pet snake. It hung on his shoulders like a scarf. In one hand, he supported its head, and in the other he twirled the snake's tail in his fingers.
Oh, my dear Beth and Vanessa, good afternoon. And what brings you lovely ladies to my quarters?
Beth dropped Vanessa's wrist and approached Dolian's desk. Master Dolian, I'm afraid to tell you that Vanessa wishes to leave the Broadway. She has turned her ear to the nonsense that some of those before her have, and is trying to confuse the others with these heresies. I thought you could help her. Dolian gave Beth a cold look.
Beth, my eldest and most wise of performers, couldn't help a misguided young lady?
Sir, I did my best to help counsel, but she has a strong will, and that fire of rebellion against the way that is difficult to redirect.
Ah, indeed. It is an infectious cancer, if not dealt with quickly.
Dolian agreed. He rose from his seat and walked over to the terrarium to put his snake away.
There are a few ways to go about helping such a person see. One is by compassion and the other fear.
At that moment, he tossed a rat in the cage, and instantly the snake leapt onto its prey. Vanessa couldn't bear to watch. She turned away and could hear Dolian walk up behind her. His cold hand smelt of snake as he ran his fingers through her hair. Vanessa's skin prickled.
Tell me, Miss Vanessa, what is this all about?
Dolian, sir, I thank you for the time here and the care everyone has shown me, but I'm quitting my job here at the Broadway.
And for what reason, may I ask?
A deep desire to be pure and holy as my God is holy. He has shown me many things that I know in my heart are true about my life, this place, and how to be truly free. The Broadway, Dolian, is unclean, though it has been made to look beautiful. And because of that, we have...
Oh, led many people astray. Yes, I've heard it all before. But don't you see, Vanessa, what a horrible rumor that is? Look at our fruit. We have helped so many find their purpose in God here. We offer opportunities for those who are like-minded to have a safe place to come and worship, edify, learn, lead, serve, and so much more. We help offer a platform for people to use their gifts and talents, just as the Master himself would desire us to. But we know that this is not where it stops. The building is not what is the true temple. We are the temple, and it is the heart and mind that must be clean, or all is dirty.
Yes, that's true. And that's what I've been shown. The Broadway is dirty because it is filled with corruption that begins in people's hearts. I know that it may start with good intention, like it was for me, but it quickly becomes polluted because of the lusts of the flesh, like money, power, fame, jealousy, envy. I know that there are many good people here, but being good doesn't mean we are right before the Master. Being righteous is his requirement.
Do you think I don't know his requirements, young Vanessa?
Laughed Dolian.
Oh, please tell me my sins if I am wrong about this place.
I've told you. We have an appearance of being godly, but we are unclean and unrighteous in the Master's eyes by indulging in our lustful desires. We've mixed what is holy with what's unholy, thus perverting the way.
Why is it that you keep saying we? Isn't this your conviction, your own conviction? I don't see or have I heard that the Master has a problem with anything here? No, maybe your heart is wrong and in the wrong place, Miss Vanessa. But it is wrong to project your sins onto me and to others.
Vanessa was stumped. She didn't know how to respond to this statement. How could she help them see that they too were in the wrong? Doubt began to creep in. Was
this really a conviction just for her? If it were true for everyone, wouldn't they have also heard from the master that they too should get out and the whole Broadway system shut down? Vanessa looked down and was quiet, feeling a little defeated and confused. Dolian smirked and gave Beth a quick glance.
Don't worry, dear Vanessa. I am not upset. I understand that this road can be difficult and confusing at times. We know that it is said that there are many false prophets and false spirits out there trying to deceive, if possible, even the elect. But that is why we have one another. Isn't that right, Beth?
Beth gave a nod.
Now, I have some business to take care of at another site. There is some trouble there as well. I will be gone all this week and be back for the weekend. Keep your head up, Miss Vanessa, and know that here you are family, and we die family.
Chapter 21. Vanessa searched the great book for answers and was continuously praying for clarity, but all was quiet. She felt distant from the master, even though she remembered what he told her, that it would only get more difficult. And even if she couldn't see or hear him, he is always there, and to keep her faith. But her faith felt so weak and small right now. She needed him. She needed someone to talk to who would understand. Vanessa, are you hungry? You haven't eaten for 2 days. I can make us our favorite chicken piccata, or we can go out if you want, Lily suggested. Thank you, Lily. You're a sweet friend. I'm going to give my mom a quick call. Lily understood that her friend sometimes just needed space to think things out, so she gave Vanessa a smile and left the room. Vanessa decided to head toward the garden again for a private place to talk with her mom. Hey, Vanessa, darling, how's it going? Hey, Mom, do you have a few minutes to talk? Yes, I do, for about 30 minutes, and then I'm meeting a friend for lunch. What's going on? Vanessa explained all that had gone on over the last few days, beginning with her dream. She explained how she'd been convinced to change and leave the Broadway because it's an apostasy, claiming to be holy when it's defiled with hypocrisy and lukewarmness. She shared her conversation with Beth and how upset it made Beth when she hoped that maybe they would understand. Then how Beth brought her to Dolian and how she expected him to be harsh and aggressive with her, but instead he showed an amount of understanding by simply questioning her and encouraging her to rethink everything. I just feel a bit confused, Mom. I thought that maybe more would understand and see what I was saying. It was so clear to me at first, but now I feel a bit uncertain. I want so much to just do the right thing, no matter what that is. Vanessa stopped there. You always have wanted that, Vanessa. I have always tried to encourage you to do what you know is right in your heart. And a lot of times the right thing is the harder way. Not everyone will agree with you, and that's okay. It's always good to be able to agree to disagree with people and still get along. We know that the Master wants us to be at peace with all people and to be reconciled to each other. He made us to be together in fellowship. But what if that fellowship isn't good, Mom? I mean, what if being with others causes you to sin? What if you have to compromise what you believe in order to get along with people? I just don't feel I can do that. Oh, honey, you shouldn't compromise what you feel is right. There are some cases where you do need to draw the line and stand up for the right thing. That is what I'm trying to do, but it only made everyone more mad. I was trying to help them by telling them the truth because I care about them. Well, sweetie, sometimes it's better not to say everything, even if it's true. We don't want to purposefully try to offend others. Try to see the good in them, Vanessa. It's very good you want to fix some things about yourself, and I always want to encourage you to be the best you. But The people there at the Broadway are so kind and accepting. You're lucky to work with such wonderful and devout women. But, Mom, that's part of the problem. They, too, are doing the very same things I was, and the Master told me it doesn't please him. We have only encouraged people to live worldly lives, but claim his name and just be moral people, and that's enough. That he will accept us in our sins. It's just not true. He told me he will only take a holy and righteous bride. The Broadway is teaching many lies, and I have only helped spread them by working there. Vanessa, honey, you would never do such a thing. I can't believe that to be true. You yourself said that it must be the right thing that you got the job when you very first came home and told me. They do so much good there, and you have done so much good, and have been a terrific help to the Broadway. So don't you go doubting yourself. Disagreements will come in any area of life, but we can just work on disagreeing with grace and striving for peace. Vanessa knew her mother meant well, but wasn't quite on the same page. She didn't know how to help her mother understand and see what she was trying to say either. There was more than just a disagreement. There was a call for a change of life and purification, which is what all the trouble is over. Vanessa had the revelation that what she thought, what they all thought was holy, is unholy, and that was a huge offense. But Vanessa couldn't ignore the burning in her heart to follow what the Master told her, even if it didn't make total sense. She had faith that someday it would. She knew it would be impossible for her to stay and just try to get along because there would always be an argument, or worse, she would fall away again. Vanessa, honey, I know you must have a lot you are thinking about, and I completely understand. Maybe we don't see quite eye to eye, and that's okay. I hope you can still love and accept me. I love you and support you because I know you want to do what's right in your heart. I do need to go, though. I'll be praying for you, sweetie. Let's talk again soon, okay? I miss you. I love you and miss you too, Mom, so much. I love you more than I ever have before. I'll talk to you later. Bye. Vanessa sat in the garden for a few minutes just thinking and praying when she heard sirens going off inside the building. She quickly jumped up and ran inside to see what was going on. She never would have expected to see her grandparents standing there in the greeting room with the security guards teeming around them, yet they didn't try to touch them. It was as if they couldn't. Her grandparents were calm and paid no attention to the men in black around them, but had their eyes fixed on Vanessa. They had the warmest eyes and smiles that made you feel so good inside. Right away, Vanessa ran over to them and hugged them.
Oh, grandparents.
Then she turned to the guards and said, "Guys, it's okay. These are my grandparents."
We know who they are.
The security yelled.
They are a security threat to the way.
They wouldn't hurt anyone. There is no threat.
Oh, they don't know that, Vanessa.
Her grandfather winked at her.
Please, gentlemen, we mean no harm or have any desire to stay. We wish to see our granddaughter and take her to lunch.
Vanessa felt so excited, like a little kid who was told she was going to the park or getting ice cream. The men seemed to calm down a bit and stood in place around them instead of swarming. "Yes, we'll go in peace and bring her back in time," her grandmother added.
Do you wish to go, Miss Vanessa?
They questioned her. "Yes, I do. They are just who I want to see."
Then you may go, but you two do not come back here again.
The security threatened her grandparents. Vanessa scanned her ring and they walked outside. Chapter 22. Vanessa asked her grandparents to go to their house. How she missed the simplicity and safety there. She had nothing but fond memories of being with her grandparents and the love they showed her. Her grandparents' house looked just the same as she remembered it, warm and inviting. They lived in a humble cottage with a wraparound porch in the country off of Narrow Way. Vanessa remembered how soft their grass was, how sweet their roses smelt, how clear the air was. And it still was just that. When they walked inside, she closed her eyes and took a deep breath, taking in the nostalgic smells of morning coffee, fruit, and potpourri. "Let me put the pot pie in the oven, and we have a lot of catching up to do," her grandmother stated. Her grandpa brought her a cold, old-fashioned cream soda from the fridge and gestured toward the living room. She sat on the couch and felt her entire body relax. It was so peaceful. My, how you've grown, Miss Vanessa," her grandmother beamed. "It has been so long since we last saw you. I think we saw you last at your high school graduation, and now look at you."
"And how old are you now, Missy? 30?
Her grandpa teased. "No," Vanessa laughed. "I'm 24. So much has happened over the last several years, and I've learned so much. And yet," her voice trailed off. "And yet what, honey?" her grandmother asked, putting an arm around her granddaughter. "And yet it's all wrong and no one understands." Vanessa paused there, trying to decide what to say next. "How did you know where to find me, by the way? Did Mom tell you I worked at the Broadway?" "Yes, honey, your mother has kept us up to date on how you're doing. Not a day has gone by that your grandfather and I did not think or pray for you to really know the truth for yourself. We would have come sooner, but the master didn't allow it. We had to wait for the right time. You see, Vanessa, we left the Broadway years ago and were told never to come back. But just last night, your grandpa and I heard that we should go find you and talk with you to encourage you and what you've heard," her grandma explained. "You couldn't have come at a more perfect time. I have felt very insecure and needed to talk with someone who knows what I'm talking about. I do remember Mom mentioning something about you two leaving the Broadway, but not much. She didn't understand why you left. I knew there must have been a good reason because I knew you were right about many things, and I could always trust that you were going to do what was right. Well, it began with us wanting to do the good thing and attend the Broadway to show our dedication to the master and to get together with friends and family. It was the tradition to do that. And yes, we always enjoyed attending and never had any bad experiences. But after some time, your grandpa began getting the word from the master that we ought to get out." "No way. That's what he was just telling me, Grandpa. What'd he tell you?"
"Nothing good, I'm afraid. He began to show me the corruption there with specific people and the organization as a whole. It is leading many people away from the truth, Vanessa, by promising life that they can't give and using the great book as a way of controlling and manipulating people through fear. That is what sorcery is,"
her grandfather testified. "That's very interesting. He told me that too, how the Broadway's teaching heresy and has put many people to sleep with her sorcery. That's what he said. And then I found it in one of the books of the great book." Vanessa was shocked that her grandparents heard the same thing. "It breaks my heart, and if it breaks mine, then it breaks the master's more, because he created them to be with them and to love them, but they have shut their eyes and ears to him. Many people are asleep spiritually to the truth of the master because they have listened to the lies of the Broadway instead, and they refuse to go to him because they think they are in the right. They would rather rely on the tradition of men's wisdom over hearing from God themselves, her grandma added. But why? Why can't they see that they just need to go to the Master and not through the Broadway? How can't they see the corruption or hypocrisy? It's so clear that he wants us to go to him and that he sent his Spirit to teach us and guide us in all things.
It's clear now that your eyes have been opened, but we were all there at one point. It's easier to listen to people because you can be fed right away and have something tangible. Look at how much God's chosen people just walked away from him to serve false idols because they wanted something they could see and feel. It takes real faith and patience to hear from the Master and grow in a relationship with him. It is also hard to break free from the deception that you have to be connected to the Broadway to be good, loyal, and a loyal follower of the Master. There is power in numbers. With so many people saying the same thing, it is more convincing that it must be true. That was true for your grandmother and I. We grew up always going there, and we were taught that we needed to go there.
Yeah. For me, I definitely listened to people over listening to the Master because I wanted to get along with everybody, and it was easier if I did. That is where I went wrong. I walked away from the Master for the love of pleasing people more than God. I fell into many lusts of the flesh and was driven by fame and the praise of people. I didn't try to listen to the Master anymore because it was easier if I didn't. Not to mention, every time I did want to discuss something on my heart, I was told I was overthinking things and not to worry because I'm saved. Indeed, it is a strong delusion. So, because they sleep, they will not hear the call of the Master to come separate and be holy. We must be like the 5 wise who had oil in their lamps and ready for the Master, said her grandma. So, what happened when you decided to leave? Did you leave right away? Vanessa inquired.
No, not right away,
her grandpa answered.
At first we thought it was something wrong with the Broadway, something just with the Broadway we were attending. So we tried a different one, but it wasn't long until we were able to see straight through the deceptions that, well, there were not any different other places out there that would work. Maybe some minor differences, but still the corruption was there in all of them. We looked at even a small Broadway. It was a cute and quaint place. We thought surely this seems right. We were there a few months and came to the sad realization that they too had been polluted, for they were teaching the same lessons as the larger Broadways do. You see, Vanessa, it's not just one that has a problem. The whole organization is bad because they all play by the same exact book. And once the Master has opened your eyes to its reality, the reality of it all, you can't ignore it. At least we couldn't.
Vanessa's grandpa looked up at her grandma, who nodded in agreement. So, we knew then and there we couldn't go back. We were very disturbed by the amount of manipulation and trickery. We decided we would give a formal renouncement to hopefully expose the wickedness there. After a lot of prayer, the Master gave us the courage to go and speak. We had heard of in the past that there were others who spoke against the Broadway, and they were heavily persecuted. We expected to receive the same. Well, we decided to go to our original gathering, since we had many friends and family there, and hoped some may hear. Before the service began, we asked if it would be all right for us to share a few words, and unaware of what would come on them, they agreed. Hand in hand, we walked onto the stage and began letting everyone know how much we loved them and how, throughout our entire time there, we have always wanted to show the Master our loyalty. We were trusted and well respected by everyone there. Vanessa's grandfather continued.
But then we spoke the true message we wanted to give, which was to repent and come out of her and be holy. We have all been deceived with her appearance of godliness, but inwardly she is rotten, and therefore producing rotten fruit in us. How we all have been manipulated and fooled to think we can live carnal lives and yet have the Master too. It's impossible. His grace has been abused to soothe people to their ultimate death. We called them to wake up to the Master's call to be righteous, and boy did we stir the bee's hive. Most of the crowd stood in rage against what we said and shouted at us, saying how hateful, judgmental, and how wrong we were. The security quickly came and pushed us out of the building, threatening that if we ever came back, we would be arrested.
Wow, I almost can't believe how upset they got, Vanessa said, stunned. Oh, it didn't stop there either, her grandmother added. For weeks there were people from the Broadway that came badgering us at our own home, not at all wanting to try to have a discussion, but just purely out of hate. Our house was egged, people threw rocks through our window, and even made violent threats if they happened to see us. We were called crazy, psycho, demon-possessed, you name it. But you know what? Even though many bad things happened, we were filled with his joy and his peace. The Master already told us persecution would come if we follow him, because, well, that's what happened to him. And a student isn't above his master. If they called him demon-possessed, won't they also call his children possessed? And he says that we are blessed if people speak evil of us for the sake of righteousness. We know that they speak well of those that are like them, and they spoke well even of the false prophets, because they were of this world. They wanted to have their ears tickled. So we must count it as joy when we receive persecution and hardship for his name, because it means we're fighting on his team. The only feelings we have for them is such a deep love and hope that maybe someday they will see. And we mustn't take things too personally, because we must realize that this war we fight is not really a physical one, though it could come out that way as well. But spiritually, we fight night and day against the principalities of darkness. But if we endure with the Master to the very end, we will reap his eternal life. How can we help them see? That's what I'm stumped on. I don't know if there's anything I could say that could help them. Vanessa's heart ached. All my friends and all my family, what if they don't accept it or understand? Now, that is something that is hard and painful to watch. People not caring for the truth or not understanding, though they may want to. It is a cost, and a great one, we all must count. That even if no one went with you, Vanessa, on the narrow way, would you still be able to follow the Master? Even if everyone turns against you, would you still follow? If you lose everything, would your faith still stand firm in the Master, knowing he will care for you? Everything is at risk when you wholly serve him. But that is nothing to fear, because he promises to be with you and provide all you need as you seek him first, her grandmother encouraged. As far as helping others see, that indeed is nearly an impossibility unless their heart is already soft toward the truth. We can see from their perspective because we've been where they are, but they will never be able to fully see from our perspective unless they too hearken to the Master's call to be separate from the world and be holy as he is holy. Vanessa sat pondering these words. She knew it was all true in her heart, yet it hurt her deeply to think that she may have to separate herself from those she loves in order to follow the Master. My heart almost can't bear thinking of how it will hurt those I care about if I separate from them. But I do truly love the Master and want to show him I love him and choose him, even if they don't. I don't want anything to confuse me or hinder me from my first love again.
Vanessa, we know that as much as the Master desires peace, he also brings division. He calls people to follow him and leave everything behind that causes us to stumble, not because we hate others, but because we love him and want to obey no matter what the cost. And we speak his truth to others because we do love them. He already told us that if anything gets in the way of following him, we are not worthy of him. People or possessions that get in the way are idols. He told us that one's enemies will be of his own household. Why? Because people choose who they will follow. There are only two paths, and he won't make someone choose his way. So just the fact that we stand with the Master and his truth and light makes those in darkness uncomfortable. But we fix our eyes on our salvation and move forward towards him. Always forward.
Her grandpa assured. That's true, Grandpa. I feel like I now have the insight and encouragement I needed to do the right thing and leave the Broadway. I hope that by my life, it may shake up someone else to see the truth too, Vanessa stated. That is what we always hope for, to be a light, his light, that we may bring more into his truth, her grandma smiled. Do you think I should give a formal resignation?
If the Master said to leave, then leave and don't look back,
her grandfather said. Vanessa nodded, knowing that that was the right answer. There was no time to waste, just like the Master told her. Please pray for me to be strong. I do hope to be able to visit you again.
You are always welcome here, Vanessa dear.
Her grandparents agreed and hugged her tight. Well, time certainly has gotten away from us. It's a little after 4, so we best get you back. We know how strict they are about their curfew. Vanessa laughed and rolled her eyes. The entire car ride back she was quiet, thinking about her escape. Chapter 23. Vanessa closed the door to her grandparents' car, blew them a kiss, and watched them drive away. The air was fresh and clear, and the sun was just setting. She turned and walked inside. Vanessa felt antsy and ready to make her move. She knew there was a lot at risk. She would face a lot of opposition and have to fight hard, spiritually, if anything, to make it through. Vanessa opened the door to her apartment and looked around. The other girls had just finished their meal and were beginning to clean up. All of them stopped at that moment and stared at Vanessa. Some had looks of curiosity, while others annoyance. There were some whispers and snickering, but no one spoke to her. Vanessa walked to her room to pack. She had in mind to take her things with her, but then felt it best to leave it all. The Master knows your needs and will take care of you, she could hear her grandparents say. Vanessa decided to change before leaving. She could hardly believe that the last clean shirt she had was a white blouse. In a peculiar way, she found this encouraging because she felt it was a symbol of her becoming clean. She walked out to where the others were. I'm leaving, she said plainly, and I ask you to come with me." The room was filled with laughter. "Oh, and why would we do that?" Beth asked. "Because if you don't repent and become clean, you will perish in your sins," Vanessa said in a solemn tone. Again, laughter soared through the room. Some began to mock Vanessa. "It's true, and you know it, Beth. We here at the Broadway have been living and teaching lives of deception. We call all this fellowship holy while we've engaged in what's unholy. We think we know the Master because we read the great book and sing songs about him, but we refuse to really get to know him by his Spirit. We've stood in the way of the Master and accepted the glory and praise that should go to him, calling ourselves teachers when one is the teacher. Enough, Vanessa. That is enough. Please don't start preaching at us again," Beth said, holding up her hand. "If you think you can convert us in such a short time, you're wrong. We have all been here much longer than you and have witnessed nothing but blessings and have been faithful to the way. It is you who has changed," Beth said, looking to the other girls. They all nodded and folded their arms. Vanessa watched Lily, who was looking at everyone with worried eyes. She hoped that maybe she would come, but even if she didn't, her mind was made up to go. "You're right. I have changed. The Master says that if we want to enter his kingdom, we must be born again, no matter how you think you have been born. Shouldn't that life look different? But that is a big part of the problem. We're trying to hold the Master's hand and the world's hand at the same time. Those are two opposite kingdoms, and you can tell which kingdom a person belongs to based on their fruit. Examine yourselves, just as I did. Ask the Master if he thinks you are really right with him. What do you have to lose? You'll lose everything if you're wrong when you think you're right. But there's only hope and life if you realize you need to change and do. Ask with a humble heart, ready to accept his truth. His truth will set you free. The Master is jealous for you, but won't make you choose him. We are free, Vanessa. We have only seen good things here and are confident of his unfailing love for us. It is you who risk losing everything by leaving," Beth retorted. Vanessa gazed at Beth and the other women in amazement at their hard hearts and their disbelief. She wished so badly she could wave her hand or say some magic words to open their eyes. But she knew that's not how it works. She felt so much grief for each one of them because she loved them all. Vanessa understood the consequence of leaving, but the consequence of staying was far worse. More than anything, she wanted to please the Master and to be pure in his eyes, even if she looked like a fool in people's eyes. All the girls looked away with frowns of disapproval. All except Lily. Her eyes were full of fear and worry. Vanessa could tell she felt torn whether to go with her or stay. Life at the Broadway was the only way Lily had ever known, so she felt how could it be wrong? But on the other hand, Lily knew that what Vanessa spoke was the truth. But only she could make up her mind. All Vanessa could say now was farewell. "Well, I want you all to know how much I love you and care for you. I appreciate all your care for me and wish you the best." "You're a fool, Vanessa," Beth said, shaking her head. Vanessa removed the ring from her finger and set it on the table. Goodbye, she said. She picked up her courage, pushed out the negativity, and turned around for the door, taking her first steps of faith. Vanessa was walking down the steps of the hallway when she heard someone running behind her. Vanessa, wait! Turning around, she saw Lily. She looked excited and afraid, all at the same time. Lily! Oh, I'm so glad you came. Vanessa hugged her friend tight. I had to come. I don't really understand everything, but I know what you're saying is right. And I want to be right with the Master and not fooled thinking I'm right. I want to be pure and holy, just like he is looking for, Lily admitted. He is always there and ready to help anyone who asks with a pure heart, Lily. He loves you and will help you do what is right. It won't always be easy. In fact, there will be many hardships and trials on this narrow road. We will have to fight hard against all the evil and lies that are going to come against us. But we must not lose heart, for we will reap everlasting life if we endure until the very end, Vanessa encouraged her friend. So, what's your plan, V? Dolian is out of the building this week. So I think this is the perfect chance to make our escape. Not out the front door, that'd be too obvious. Somewhere they won't really be watching, Vanessa thought out loud. Where would that be? The security is watching everywhere. I've got it. Maybe we go to the undeveloped floor. I doubt anyone would be there since it's deemed unsafe. Won't they see us going through the great room and be suspicious? If they ask, then we can just say we were going to the garden. Go there for a little stroll and then we'll make our exit. All right, I'll follow you. The two of them walked down the stairs and into the greeting room. They peered around the corner. No one was in sight, but they knew they were being watched. They calmly walked down the hall toward the great room and opened the door. Walking down the aisle, Vanessa felt a little odd. The life she once lived, she was leaving once and for all. It was nerve-wracking at least, but she also felt a sense of freedom and adventure, thinking of all the possibilities she might do for the Master. They quietly walked through the doors to the backstage, and there they froze for a second, staring at the door that would lead them to the forbidden portion of the building. Are you sure you want to do this? Lily questioned. I'm convinced it's the right thing. I can't go back. We're slaves here, but free with the Master. Vanessa spoke. She approached the door and opened it quietly. Peeking in, she saw an empty and bare room that was undeveloped. It was all concrete with wires still hanging down from the ceiling. Right on the other side, about 100 yards, was the door that led out of the building, out to freedom. Okay, I think the coast is clear. Come on, Lily, Vanessa whispered. They had taken only a few steps when several security guards came from a side door and charged at them. Run, Lily! Run! Vanessa screamed. The girls sprinted as fast as they could. Vanessa looked back, her hair slapping her face. The men were right behind them, reaching out their hands. Lily's eyes were full of terror. Vanessa saw 3 guards grab Lily. No, Lily, no! Vanessa cried out. Just then she felt someone grab her hair and yank on her clothes. No, no, I won't let you take me, she shouted. Vanessa fought against them with all her might, throwing punches this way and that. She did everything she could to get out of their grasp. Glancing up at Lily, she saw her friend lose strength, give up, and be dragged off. No, Lily, don't give up! Vanessa yelled to Lily. Tears streamed down Lily's face. Go, don't worry about me. she cried out. Her eyes seemed to say, "I'm sorry, I can't." Vanessa wanted to run after her friend to try to help, but she knew that if she did, she would be overpowered and dragged away. She had to keep fighting. A new wave of energy filled her, and she tossed and wrestled free from the grip of the security guards. She lunged at the door and pushed it open. Bright light flooded the room. The guards hissed and shielded their eyes. They didn't dare step out to follow after Vanessa, for there was the master waiting for her. Vanessa stood up and looked back and noticed she wasn't being followed. "I'm free," she whispered. To her left was Vanity Street, which dead-ended right where she stood. Everything she ever knew she was leaving behind to answer the master's call. To her right was a path called New Life Lane. That was the road she was to take.
Well done, daughter. You stood firm during the test and endured.
Whirling around, she saw the master. "Oh, master," she fell at his feet. Thank you, she said in tears. "But please, what about my friend Lily? She needs help. Please help her."
I want to, Vanessa. Believe me, I do. But each person must choose if they will fight and endure to the end, or give up when it becomes too hard. Lily does want to do what is right, but she quickly becomes defeated and loses faith. But not all hope is lost for her. She will have to count the cost to come follow me. Then I can help her.
Vanessa understood. She would try, if she could, to somehow encourage Lily and anyone she meets. "Master, why was the security trying so hard to stop Lily and me? Even Dolian didn't try to make me stay if I wanted to go."
He didn't? Did he not make you feel foolish and doubt, almost putting out the fire in your heart? Did he not try to win you through being cunning? In reality, Vanessa, he was trying again to deceive you by questioning what you heard from me, but with the appearance of being understanding. Just as my children will obey the things I say, Dolian's servants will obey his orders. They make it their job to keep my truth from coming out or in, lest their deeds be exposed and people repent. They will do all that they can and use anyone they can to stop you and bring you back to their way, your old way. But what they don't see is that they are not actually fighting against you, but it is me and my way they are fighting against. And it won't stop here. You must prepare to face and fight lies, hardship, and persecution for my name. Some will come at you with tenderness and compassion, trying to weasel into your heart, while others will come with hate. Evil and deception will only increase, so you must be vigilant and always striving to be close to me and hearing my voice. But do not be afraid, because I am always with you. I will always help keep your feet on the right path.
"Yes, master, I understand. I don't want to fall away from you again and be taken in by the craftiness or even a misguided love of others. Only you have life, and it's you my heart desires. I want to be used by you any way possible to share your truth and love, that more may see and come to you. Help me endure with you, master, and have the things I need on this narrow road."
I have prepared for you what you need for your journey, many of which you will acquire along the way. But for now, I have a small gift for you as you begin.
The master held out a small box to Vanessa. It was white and velvety. Vanessa opened the box, and inside was a simple but beautiful gold ring. It was a thin gold band with olive branches engraved in the metal and one diamond on top. She looked up with a big smile at the master's face, who smiled kindly back. "It's beautiful. Thank you," Vanessa said. She slid the ring onto her finger, and it was a perfect fit. Not only did it fit, but there was a wonderful feeling of peace inside of her, a peace she never had with Dolian, though she lived in luxury with him. Vanessa realized it was just like in her dream. Dolian was very attractive and flashy, and he was able to give her everything she could ever want. But she was still left wanting in her heart because she only filled her life with temporary pleasure and love that wasn't real. Dolian didn't ultimately care about her, just used her, whereas the master truly did care for her and love her and gave her everything he had to show her how much he loved her. And though it may not have been the most attractive way, she was truly happy, content, and full of his peace.
The ring Dolian gave you was a symbol that you belonged to him, and by leaving it, you have proven that you are no longer engaged to him, nor accept his provision. By accepting the ring I gave you, you are showing that you now desire a relationship with me, and will be loyal to me. Likewise, I will be loyal to you. With me, you will have everything you need and have joy and peace, not as the world or the Broadway gives, but true peace, true provision I give to you. I also give you this light,
he said as he handed Vanessa a headlight.
As a reminder that even the smallest amount of light overpowers darkness when you are with me, you will always have the light, because my spirit will fill you with my light.
Thank you, Lord. I'm greatly honored and humbled. Vanessa hardly had words to speak. She looked down New Life Lane and back at the master. I think I'm ready now. Will I see you again?
Maybe not in the way you expect, but I am always here with you, so keep your eyes and ears open to me. Here, take this bread for your journey and eat it, remembering me. I will daily lead you and daily feed you. Be bold and strong, and do not be afraid, for I am with you. Let love have its perfect way in you. Now, go and bear much fruit. Your grandparents are aware you will go to them this night, for it is getting late, and then continue on the way.
Vanessa thanked the master again and bowed at his feet. When she arose, he was gone. Standing to her feet, she faced her direction, put on her headlight, and began walking with her bread in hand. She felt so much wonder and excitement, thinking how each day would be an adventure with the master. Yes, pain and sorrow would come, but that didn't compare to the purpose she now found following and obeying the master on the narrow way.
Ooh, the life of sin I once was in, now washed away for me, to live for him and not for me, proclaim his love forever. Oh, I've been changed, I've been made new, the old has gone, his promise is true. The old man died, the spirit alive, I'll proclaim him forever. The hands of Jesus bear the marks of his love, his blood shed for me is more than enough. I'll pick up my cross and live for him unashamed. I'll stand for his truth and his holy name. Open our eyes to see you, to cherish your glory in every place. Make our minds to be new, held in your hands forever beyond time. You are forever true, and in your hands I'll forever be. You are forever true. The hands of Jesus hold back the sea. The hands of Jesus keep the world from crushing me. The hands of Jesus discipline when wrong. The hands of Jesus comfort us along. The hands of Jesus are transforming me to his image so that I can see. The hands of Jesus give us power when we're weak. The hands of Jesus guide all who seek. The hands of Jesus bear the marks of his love. His blood shed for me is more than enough. I'll pick up my cross and live for him unashamed. I'll stand for his truth and his holy name. Open our eyes to see you, to cherish your glory in every place. Make our minds to be new, held in your hands forever beyond time. You are forever true, and in your hands I'll forever be. You are forever true. He opens the ears and eyes of deaf and the blind. He heals the brokenhearted and renews our mind. The hands of Jesus, the safest place to be. In the will of God, 'cause he's looking out for me. This is the will of God, for me to trust his Son. This is the will of God, for us to be as one. His holy hands are molding me and changing me within, purifying and shaping, cleansing from all sin. The hands of Jesus bear the marks of his love. His blood shed for me is more than enough. I'll pick up my cross and live for him unashamed. I'll stand for his truth and his holy name. Open our eyes to see you, to cherish your glory in every place. Make our minds to be new, held in your hands forever beyond time. You are forever true, and in your hands I'll forever be. You are forever true.